Man, I'm tired, okay? I am really tired. I, forgot. I should join like a private one, I think. Map. How do you get the hell out of here? Oh, yeah, here. Multiplayer any language? Multiplayer private room. I've had a full day already, chat. I've had to go out. I had to go Christmas shopping. It was raining. Oh my god, I got so angry. I fucking hate the rain. God, I hate the rain so much. It is the worst. It's the worst when you have to go somewhere. Yeah, I wore a mask, of course. But you know like you go out and you have to buy stuff and go from shop to shop, and that sucks already. I hate shopping. I really hate it. Yeah, we can shop over here. Stores are open, but you're limited to how many people can get in to the shop. So there's fucking queues outside every shop. You gotta wear a mask. You gotta put some gel on before you go in and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I hate doing all of that stuff. Okay, and it's like times 100 worse because you have all this COVID PPE stuff. You got to put a mask on. You got to put the gel on, and you have to distance and everything. Makes it even worse. And then on top of that, the icing on the cake, it's fucking pouring rain all day. It just didn't stop. So everything that we bought was like soaked and like, oh fuck. I remember we got to the car and I'm just like, I was just hoping that like a car would run me over when we were in the parking lot. I was so harassed. I was so harassed. You know what I mean? You ever get like that? Do they sell umbrellas? In Jersey they do, but it's very windy over here. So it rains sideways. So umbrellas just don't work. It's constantly windy over here, so you just can't do it. Okay, let's take a look at the encyclopedia, the map. Fish species. The biggest specimen is a 9.89 kilogram bull trout. Somebody has caught 169.48 kilograms worth. Oh no, this is me. This is all me. Okay, but where does it say? Okay, how do I know if I'm using the right? I can't remember. How do I know if I'm using the right sizes and shit, you know? Leaderboard. No, I don't want to see the leaderboard. I want to know, like, look, see, I've got like an olive and like a piece of cheese on here or something. I don't know, like. I got a feeling that you can't catch fish with an olive and a piece of cheese on this lake. And the hook I'm using is probably too big as well. Trout loves olives. All right. Well, let's see if you're right about that. Oh. No. I could probably catch you with that. What, you like olives and cheese? Nice. Nice. Call Ravs, he was pro. Am I enjoying my dad game? Yeah. So far, so good. It's pretty good. I've played this a little bit already, you know? I've already played this a little tiny bit. No, there's no zombies in this game. Did I tell you that we did a 46 exfil? I did a 41 exfil solo yesterday. And I could have kept going. I didn't find a ray gun, but I could have kept going with my shoddy. But it was late and I had to go. I had to log off. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, that was my excuse. Has my game been crashing? No, I haven't had any crashes since they rolled out the battle pass. They must have fixed a bunch of crashes and stuff. It's been fine. Ravs, Bree, and um, who else did we play with? Ravs, Bree, Duncan all had crashes. Ravs even crashed last. Wolf did as well. When I was playing with Wolf and Ravs on yesterday, Friday, they both crashed as well. Am I gonna play Cyberpunk? Yeah, eventually. I'm not like in a mad rush to play it. You have to cover the whole hook in bait. Well, look, I mean, look at my friend. Look at this hook is covered in bait. See? The whole hook is covered. Oh, here we go. No. No. They're not interested. I don't think that they like bread or cheese, I think it is here. Am I donor baiting? No, I'm fish baiting. Look, I'm trying to catch fish right now. Cover you in bait. Oh, look. Turn. Turn. No, did not turn. It's probably the wrong bait. You're probably right. Okay, what can we use here? Let's use the... We are using an Okina BS. A level 4 Okina BS. We are using... What do we want to use? We want to buy some bait. Some baits. Let's buy some... We got some maggots here. Okay, let's get some maggots on here. This will be good. And what? Float line length. Let's make it 75. Float weight. Buy more weights in the other section. 7 out of 7 grams. Okay, let's go. Ugh. They loved the maggots last time. You're right about that. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Just looks like some sort of like insect dildo or something. Look at it. Ugh. It's like a bug cock. Look at it. Ugh. Yuck. Where are the lures? There's some lures in here somewhere. It does, you're right. It looks like a... Here we go. Look at the size of this thing. We got one. We're bringing it in. That's not a cockroach. This is a big fish. This is gonna get us some. There we go. 92 bucks for this thing. We got. It's a 6 kilogram brown trout. Not bad. Not bad at all. 92 bucks, baby. That's pretty good. No. Nature is stupid. You might be right, actually. You might be right about that. Okay, hold up a second. Let me just get my shit sorted out here. Let me just make sure my shit's all sorted out here. Okay, perfect. There, we can just do a little wiggle waggle. Nice. Your immersion has been ruined? Sorry about that. Sorry. Trout. Where's Trout? Is Trout here? I recommend turning the drag down to like 66%. Shit! Look at him! Damn! We got one! We got one! Oh, he's huge! He's fucking massive, this guy. He's huge. 69 bucks. And the rest. It's gonna be amazing. Backseating this game. Yeah, why not? Let's bring him in. Whew, that's a huge one. 6.85 kilogram rainbow trout. Look at that. 105 bucks. Shit. It's a huge bitch. Ooh. We got it. Let's do a little wiggle here. That is a big one. Yeah, you're right. It's a fucking huge one. I tried putting some berry white and doing some sexy jiggles. No. Well, sure, yeah. Do I eat seaweed? Yeah, all the time. It's like my go-to. You can't get lettuce over here, so you have to use seaweed. Yeah, these maggots really do the trick here. Wow! Oh, wow. Look at that behemoth. Behemoth. I wasn't joking. No, I'm not. Why would I joke about such a thing? A level 3 pack-a-punch rod lets you catch bears. That's what I fucking need. That's what I fucking need. A level 3 pack-a-punch fishing rod. I think I've caught all the fish in this lake. Oh no! Wow! That's a monster! Holy shit! Gary! We got one! You see the size of him? Jesus Christ! I'm bringing him in. When can you get chopper gunner? Whoo! 3.72 kilogram brown trout, baby. Nice. I think I need some more maggots. Yeah, I do. I'll buy some more maggots. They're really good. Okay, that's a quick one here. Can we do double maggot? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's try a double maggot. Maybe we can get something fucking humongous. Something out here is going to sense. Hang on, there's 2 maggots on this hook. Oh my god. Double bug cock. See what you can catch with a car battery. Alright. Did I ever see that movie where the alien penis punches through the guy's chest and eats his children? No, I'm not familiar with that one. What kind of movies have you been watching? That's pretty gross. This is your birth video. Stick of dynamite catches almost all the fish in the lake at once. Whoa, what was that down there? Did you see that? It looked like old Nessie. Maybe we can catch old Nessie. When's Northernlion join? Probably in like 20 minutes or so, I think. I think he's just finishing up... Jesus! I think he's just finishing up Spelunky with Dan, and then we're ready to go. Okay, we got another big one here. That's a huge one. Yeah, it's a big boy. There we go. 64 bucks. 4.11 kilograms. A cutthroat trout. I don't know if I've ever even caught one of those. So does the bait make a difference? Like 2 maggots. Maybe you catch more stuff with 2. With the double. Yes. All right. So what kind of bait would you suggest here, Jardums? You're gonna want to run. The cutthroat gang is coming for you now. The slogos. The slogos kick your ass. The slogos kick your face. The slogos kick your balls into outer space. Use that. Here it comes. Here it comes. Is this another cutthroat? Oh. You use double red worms here. Can I use red worms with my current rod loadout? You gotta make a good first impression on NL by catching nothing but giant honkers, okay? Alright, I mean, I have been catching many honkers today, but long may that tradition continue, am I right? Let's make sure that we just catch more honkers, I guess. Oh, I gotta net this one. Hey, how do you do this again? What is it? How do you use the net again? Fishing net up, down. RF. Here we go. 224. We've caught a 16.50 kilogram brown trout. 244 bucks. This is the biggest honker we've ever caught before in our young 26 years on this planet. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe that? I'm selling it. I'm level 8 now.
Hey Sips, get me away from this other guy. He keeps touching me and clipping through my side. Anyways, do you have any Warhammer models?
Nope. Not even one. Not even one. Hey, the left maggot, thanks so much for the donation. I appreciate it. You can't believe it? You're pretty sure I'm lying. Why would I lie about something like that? You're 26. Coming in at the right time. Man. All my fans out there, if you're watching this, that one was for you. That one was for you. You can't eat the bait. Then don't feed it to the fish. Have I tried hunter vision? No. Well, here he comes, look. No, I don't think I have hunter vision. I think I need to unlock the skill. Does Steve actually have COVID? He hasn't been tested yet, right? No, I'm not using the controller. No, I'm using the mouse. Using mouse keyboard combo here. Got him. Not bad. 6.34 kilogram rainbow trout, baby. Good. We're up to 930 big ones. Oh, his roommates have it, so he's most likely got it? Wait, he's got roommates? Isn't Steve engaged or something? Or maybe he's still engaged, but he's got roommates? Do you get to upgrade your fishing equipment in this game? Yeah, you do, yeah. That's the whole point of the game. Oh, here we go. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's coming in. He's engaged with one of his roommates. Oh, right, okay. Oh, he's not engaged anymore? Or you don't think he is? All right. I'm engaged to my roommate too. Romantically engaged. Also married to my roommate. And have been for some time now. Here we go. 104 bucks. 6.78 kilogram brown trout. We are making the big bucks here right now. We are really making some huge bucks. Non-stop. It's like a money printing machine out here today on the lake. Didn't I say two of my roommates haven't paid any rent since they moved in? Yeah. Yeah, man. And they're so loud at night too. When you're just trying to get some shut-eye, all you can hear is like sobbing and questions coming through the walls and stuff. They don't pay any rent. It's unbelievable. Oh shit, here we go. This is like the Star Destroyer at the start of the first Star Wars movie, you know, when it's like taking that Corellian Corvette, the one that Leia's on. You know which one I mean? I've been watching some more Mandalorian, and I gotta say I love it. It's so good. It just, except for that cursed episode with the snow planet was cool. The snow cave was cool until the spiders showed up. The snow spiders can fuck right off. I don't know why they even put that in the show. Ugh. Those spiders were awful. They were really gross. Oh, look at this guy. Let's get the fishing net out. Ooh. Look at that. 13.37 kilograms rainbow trout. 199 bucks. Bam. We are selling every fish. Alright, we gotta get some more bait, but honestly... So you think double red worms here? I have some red worms. Okay, let's try double red worms here, Jardins. See if you're right about this. Ooh. Pointless episode? No, it wasn't. It's a bridging episode, right? It gets him to the place that he needs to be at for things to happen. But it also builds his character as somebody who is willing to sort of like barter and wheel and deal to achieve his goal. And it also shows that he will stick to his quest no matter what. So it's actually an important episode when you think of it in the grand scheme of things. Would I suggest starting that series? Yeah, it's amazing. It's the best Star Wars I've seen. Honestly, it's so good. What was my opinion on The Sopranos last episode? I liked it. It was alright. The final season at parts seemed a bit rushed. Almost like it suffered from the same thing that the final season of Game of Thrones suffered from. You know what I mean? A show that really was about all the characters and stuff. A lot of stuff was just sort of like happened quickly with no story attached to it or whatever, you know what I mean? And maybe that was slightly disappointing, but the writing of the entire series sort of makes up for the fact that maybe the final season felt a little tiny bit rushed and maybe at times kind of all over the place. The final episode was really good though, and the final scene I thought was really good too. I liked it. These worms aren't really doing it, eh? They're not. Nothing wants to bite these worms. Maybe I need a different hook. Oh! I lied. Here he comes. Look at this! Double red worms! Whoa. Whew, I can barely reel this guy in. Look at this. Oof. Oh, jeez. No spoils. Okay, sorry. Well, the season's already aired completely. I'm on like the third... I just finished the third episode, I think. 4.66 kilograms. Not bad. 72 bucks. Sold.
You're doing great, Dad!
Hey,
To the
Sips,
fishmonger.
need your opinion here.
Yeah?
How frequently a man needs to shave his balls? My friend says at least once a week because he believes a gentleman's balls has to smooth as a baby seal. Is that true?
I don't know why you're asking me. I got hairy-ass balls, and I have done ever since the day I hit puberty. I've never once shaved my balls. and I don't ever plan on doing it either. My sack is so wrinkly now, I would injure myself if I shaved them. I don't have smooth balls underneath all of that hair. Oh my god, this thing is disgusting. Look at this. I'm old, guys. I got a wrinkly sack. What can I say? It's like a fucking udder down there. Like, there's no way I'm shaving that. I'm not taking the risk. I've done a little trim before, but like nothing substantial, you know, like... The size of this thing. He wasn't that big, it turned out. It's a cutthroat trout, 3.23 kilograms. Sold for 50 bucks. Oh, we still got a couple of worms left. Nice. Have I ever tried doing the monoball? No, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a monoball is. Clipping the sack is frightening. I've had it a few times. I just don't have time to really shave my balls, I don't think. Brett Barber, thanks so much for the 666. What is your favorite pizza place and my favorite pie? My current favorite pizza place is Alvin's Hot Stuff Pizza on the island of Jersey. And my favorite pie is the deep dish margarita. I like a thick crust. I like a thick, fluffy, deep crust. That's my current go-to pie. Is that good enough for you? You got a thick crust on your cock. Nice. Thank you very much for the info. Big Ball Energy, thanks so much for the $10 as well. Mucho apreciado, thanks. What's the best cheese? I think just straight up mature cheddar cheese. Mature cheddar. It's got a bit of a kick to it. It's nice. Really good on pizza. Mature cheddar cheese. You put some mature cheddar cheese on pizza, you're laughing. It's good. There we go. 7.79 kilograms. Rainbow trout. 119 bucks. It's in the bag. Okay. Let's buy some more red worms. Seems to work. And they're not that expensive either, right? Let's double up again. Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah. We can try to upgrade like our rod and stuff soon, right? Do a rod upgrade. You need to know my opinion on olives? I ate some olives today, in actual fact. I kind of like them. You know what? Not only do I like olives as like a little appetizer, you know, you get like some olives with like some, I don't know what they put on them, but usually like in some oil or something, or some, I don't know, like a vinaigrette or something. I don't know. They're nice though. They're very salty and nice. But I had some olives in a really delicious vegetarian pasta that I got for lunch today. They were pretty good. Some nice, some sun-roasted tomatoes. Some olives were in there. Really nice pasta sauce. Some penne. Yeah, it was good. Olives are good, yeah. I like olives a lot. You're firmly on Team Olives suck? I think the older you get, the more willing you are to try different foods and stuff though, right? Got him. Look at that, 9.14 kilogram brown trout. 139 bucks. God damn, we're making a lot of money out here right now. Man, by the time Northernlion turns up and we actually do some fishing, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be able to buy all of the best stuff. Has he played this before? Do you guys know if he's ever played this before or what? Is he like level 100? He has played it. Okay. He's already 1 millionaire. Oh, okay. So is he gonna be able to tell me how to play the game rather than the other way around? He plays this professionally? Nice. This is why you hate video games. It appeals to the male fantasy. If you had 5 minutes to talk to 21-year-old Sips, what you'd say? What would you say? You know what I would say? I'd say to 21-year-old Sips, keep on keeping on. You know what? I got no regrets. But 21 was a great year for me. I wouldn't have changed anything. Loved it. Having said that, wouldn't necessarily like to experience it again, but it was fine. You know what I mean? It's alright. Tell him to spin fast and eat ass. Hello, I cannot see the net. Ooh. Here we go. 8.20 kilograms. Brown trout. So is there just one lake? No, there's more. I'm just using this lake for now. Hey, I'm not switching lake when we're on a hot streak like this. We're catching tons of fish out here. This has been some good fishing. One-year-old Sips would have bought more stocks in Amazon? Pff, I don't know. I mean, that's providing that you went back in time, spoke to 21-year-old Sips, and you going back in time had zero effect on the course of time for that timeline. What if I went back in time and accidentally stepped on a frog or something like that, and it altered the course of the future for that timeline irrevocably? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I told them buy stocks in Amazon, but Amazon didn't even exist in that timeline because I accidentally, like, farted or something? You know what I mean? I don't think that works the way that you guys expect it to. Also, yeah, if I was 21 years old and future me visited from the future and told me to do something, I wouldn't trust him. I would think, hang on a second. I've done too many drugs today, or something to that effect. And I would not trust that advice at all. You know? Whoops. Oh yeah, we got it. 150, wow, 10 kilograms on the dot. Rainbow trout. Nice. It's my favorite simulator game? Well, it was supposed to be Junkyard Simulator, which turned out to be not the dream game I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Are fish really worth that much? That's crazy. Yeah, some fish are worth tons. You can sell them to markets and restaurants and stuff, and they'll pay big bucks for it. You can sell a yellowfin ton for big money. You mean one of these guys right now? I think this is just another brown trout. What was wrong with Junkyard Simulator? It was just garbage. I mean, I know that it was about garbage, but it was just so bogged down in unnecessary nonsense. Like, for a game that was just meant to be, you know, junking old cars and stuff like that, you had to do a whole bunch of driving in this, like, real weird, like, hell world. Like, oh, man, it was just, like, there was this, like, just insufferable forced tutorial that broke. We couldn't even progress past it and stuff. Like, man, it just, like, that game just wrote the book on, like, what not to do when you make a game. Like, it just was terrible. Hopefully they fix it. Hopefully they strip out all that crap and just concentrate on making just a really cool junkyard simulator, you know? It's still early access. Well, it was like the prologue, you know, like some of these. This is like a popular thing now, right? The prologue. You see, it's like a demo, basically. You get to play the first level for free or whatever. I reached level 46 on zombies last night. I'm like prestige 40 something now. Yeah, I might be prestige 46 now. I wasn't really paying attention, but I did play last night. It was good. I didn't know Ross was around, actually. I should ask him to play. For the 20 kilogram boys, I recommend a number 6 or max number 07 hook. Alright, okay. That's a 5 kilogram boy here. Oh, Hat Films played it today, did they? Wait, on a Saturday? Oh my god. They feeling okay? Okay, let's go with this again. Oh shit, it's Tuesday. Oh fuck, I thought it was Saturday today. Oh my god. I took the day off today, so it's like Saturday, right? I have lost it. I'm sorry, chat. Oh, round 46. Yeah, 46. We got to round 46, yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious, eh? I'm such a dad. Fucking takes a day off on a Tuesday and thinks it's Saturday. And actually is convinced of that fact for far too long as well, right? The worst. Oh, Northernlion said that he's gonna be... Whoa. This is a big one. This is a real big one here. He said he's gonna be like 10 minutes late. He's just finishing up Spelunky right now. Do I know it's Crimbo on Friday? Yeah, I do. I'm well aware. Another day in paradise. Yeah, right. Man, I don't even care what day of the week it is half the time. All I do is play video games all day. And night. I mean, who cares? Who needs to know, right? Okay, let's get this in here. Nice. Ooh. Oh, 13.74 kilogram rainbow trout. 205 bucks. I'm level 9 already. I can't fucking believe this game. I'm like the fucking master. So when do we make the millions? We're working on it. It's going to take some time. Would I rather have tentacle hands or fish feet? Neither. Neither. Check later when you're on the leaderboard in Betty Lake. Must be close to the top 150. Really? What, just based on this right now? Or do you mean you? Are you in the top 150? Have I taught my kids about the Krampus? Where's the auto sieve? I don't know. Here we go. We're in business. Would you rather have tentacle testicles or testicles on your chin? Neither. These questions are stupid. I wouldn't rather any of those things. I'd rather you not ask questions like that. How about that? That's what I'd rather. 6.95 kilogram trout. Nice. Have I ever seen the show Fishing with John? No. I remember in Canada, though, they had lots of sports fishing shows on TSN. I remember them, not because I used to watch them. My friend's dad used to watch them all the time. There was one that had this like really catchy theme to it. It was like, fishing, we're going fishing. Do you remember that one? I can't remember the name of it. I think it might have just been called We're Going Fishing. But, yeah, no, like imagine a whole show about sports fishing. It's a big thing. If I was going to start a garden, what kind of flowers would I put in it? Man, I don't know. I'd pay somebody to do it. I wouldn't do it myself. I fucking hate gardening. If I was that way inclined. You know what I mean? Favorite Christmas chocolates? I'm a sucker for roses and heroes. Heroes. I would say heroes, probably. Are we doing Q&A here? No, not really. I mean, we're just farting around. Farting around, waiting for, Northernlion. Northernlion. What do you guys... Do you guys fully call him Northernlion? Or do you call him something, like, for short? Is there, like, a shorthand? NL. No. Ryan. Well, I don't really know him. I don't want to call him Ryan. Like, you just call him NL. What do other people call him? Like, what do people who, like... who play, like, Among Us with him when he was, like, in that game with, AOC and stuff? What did they all call him? Just ask him. Northern. Northern, but that's cursed. So you can't do that. Northy. Can't call him Northy. Sweet cheeks. Nigel. All right, Nigel. Here we go. Ready? That's not a shark. Don't worry. We got him. We're getting him. Crisp trout. Fuck, I can't believe it's Tuesday today. I was like so convinced it was Saturday. Maybe I wouldn't. Oh, we got a lobby tomorrow. We got an Among Us lobby tomorrow. This is gonna bust. Here we go. Whew, 19.13 kilograms. That's a big boy. 19.13 kilograms. That's got to be my biggest one yet, right? 280 bucks. Boom. Can you dig it? 19 kilograms. Morning or Hafu lobby? Morning. Morning EU. I'm not sure about Hafu, actually. She asked me to play tonight, or in today's lobby, but I couldn't make it because I was not streaming today, until tonight. But I said I could play Wednesday if she had spots, and she said, okay. I don't know if that means, like, okay, you're in on Wednesday, or if that means, okay, I'll let you know. That was the response. Just, okay. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if I can, I will. If not, just play zombies, right? Means I'm cancelled. Come on, after all of that knowledge, the Minecraft knowledge that I shared, there's no way I can be cancelled, right? Oh shit, look at this guy. Here he comes. The fish are not getting wise to my ways. I don't know if you've noticed, but here's another one hooked again. These fish are stupid as hell. They don't know what they're doing out there. I don't think I have the hardware to handle this one. He's a big boy. Ugh. Let's do one of those. He's out there too. He's gonna get away. Cancelled. Jeez. Not like this. Imagine getting cancelled while you're playing a fishing game on your computer. That would suck, eh? Like, at least get cancelled for, like, you know, accidentally, you know, like, doing a hot chick live or something. Don't get cancelled playing, like, the nerdiest game ever. You know what I mean? We're watching horses having sex. Oh my god, what a way to go. Imagine. Daddy, why did you lose your job? Well, son, there I was, minding my own business. And then I accidentally watched horses have sex with each other. It was disgusting. It was disgusting, it was wrong, but GD it, I loved it. Okay, we'll go double red worm again, I guess. My finger slipped and clicked on the horse porn again. Jesus. I don't think that that's a good excuse. Is Ryan late? Yeah, he said he was going to be a bit late. He's doing a spelunky. I don't know what's involved in a spelunky. I've never played that game before. Horse intercourse is illegal in your country? What? I mean, really? He's finishing up a Spelunky 2 run. They are very near the end. All right, okay. I don't, like, again, I don't know, like, how... do runs take a long time in that? Or is it one of those games where it's like, sometimes the run might take 5 minutes and other times it might take, like, 5 hours? I was watching Dan play it the other day. It looks pretty fun. I'm not, like, huge into platformers. I don't know. Platform games aren't really my thing, you know? What's a platformer I like? Mega Man 2. That's probably one of the only... I like Metroid as well. Super Metroid was fun. I had one of the I had a Metroids for like a Game Boy Advance... was it a DX? Is DX the one with the 2 screens? That flipped open and it had the screen, the one that you could write on and then the other one? I had DS, sorry. I had a Metroid for that as well that I finished. I really like that too. So I'd say Metroid, I guess. It's pretty good. I also had Dr. Tamagotchi's brain training or whatever. And I remember getting it and thinking, I'm just going to do one of these every day and it'll keep me sharp. And then I read some article that it does not keep you sharp. So then I just stopped playing it. I think I did that for one day. One day. Does it actually make your brain sharp? Does it? It actually makes you dumber. Oh, maybe I played too much of it then. How much do you have to donate for a Pokemon playthrough? I don't think I'd appreciate a Pokemon playthrough. In fact, I think it would be very disappointing because I probably wouldn't enjoy it and it would show. You know what I mean? So you guys would probably just have to like slog through me playing a game that I just don't enjoy at all or understand, and maybe we'd make it to the end eventually. But I don't think it would be a great experience for me or for you. Shave my neck beard, please. Okay, I will. I'll do it for Christmas, all right? I'm just being lazy. Okay, this guy is just trying to leave the lake here. I can't. He's getting further and further away. Oh, no, we got him. We got him. We've tuckered him out. Will I play Cyberpunk? Yeah, eventually. I don't know if it did live up to the hype in the end. I think it's just been bogged down. It's certainly on consoles, it has not. People are really pissed off about it on last-gen consoles. I don't know. This doesn't sound like it's that great, really. I just don't know if I want to... I just don't know if I like the setting, and I just don't know if I can be bothered with the story or anything. Like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered buying it. I haven't actually played it yet, so I could probably refund it. 8.33 kilograms. Pretty nice. I got 3,000 bucks here. Jeez. It is good. Like, how good? Like, I can't get past the theme, though. I just, like, fucking... I'm not really into it, you know? The whole, like, augments and... Like, Deus Ex didn't do it much for me, either. I just didn't like that, the sort of shitty future stuff, you know? If I like Fallout 4, I love Cyberpunk. Yes, I like Fallout 4, but I feel like I like Fallout 4 for different reasons than most people probably like Fallout 4, right? I actually really like the settlement stuff. I like the building shit. I liked fucking making a human meat factory, like, you know what I mean? And you can't do any of that shit in Cyberpunk. Yeah, I like to grab garbage and then process it. That's why I was so looking forward to Junkyard Simulator. Go wait for some mods. Maybe. You think you'll play the new Stardew Valley update that came out? Yeah, probably eventually, yeah. I don't hate Stardew Valley. I thought that was great, actually. Wow, look at this. A 5 kilogram rainbow trout that actually put up quite a fight and looked different to the other rainbow trouts that we caught. Just wait a year like I did with Skyrim? You think it'll be better in a year? My concerns aren't so much the bugs and stuff. I can live with a couple of bugs and crashes. It's actually just the story and stuff. I just don't know if I can be bothered with it, you know what I mean? It's not just a story in a game is not appealing to me. Like I'll just watch a movie or a TV show, which is probably way better. Realistically, like you know what I mean? Like if I play a game, I want mechanics. Like I want fun things to do, or at least things that I think are fun. I don't just want to watch cutscenes and fucking listen to shitty dialogue that's maybe is okay, but I feel like most dialogue is not written that well. Like it's just, even some of the dialogue in like Skyrim and stuff was fucking really boring. Like it's hard to get through some of that stuff, you know? Yeah, I like Death Stranding, but Death Stranding wasn't super dialogue like, I don't know, it felt like there was just, it was mundane stuff to do, but it felt like you were just doing stuff at least, you know what I mean? There was always like roads to build and shit like that. I don't know, maybe the pacing was just better. The cutscenes were really cool in Death Stranding too. It was kind of like artsy and stuff as well. Cyberpunk, I feel like it's not going to be like that. Cyberpunk to me, maybe I'm wrong, Chad, I haven't played it, okay? I'm just saying, I just feel like it's going to be trying hard to be really good in that sense. Trying hard to be like it's written really well and that everything holds together really well, and maybe not, you know? I could be wrong. Maybe I will try it eventually. I'm not saying I hate it without trying it. I just don't feel like playing it right now. The game has a lot of side content. You might not like it when you do traditional sandbox games, but it has a good amount of sandbox elements. I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I'll probably play it then. If it has sandboxy stuff that's fun and interesting or whatever, you don't necessarily have to play it like totally on rails with the story and everything, then yeah, I'll probably play it. And I'll probably enjoy it as well. There's a Cyberpunk update for Death Stranded. Is Cyberpunk at all like Hitman 2? I liked Hitman 2. I loved Shitman Poo. That was a great game. That was a really good one. Jesse Cox gets hit in the dick in the game. Nice. Woo. There's a pretty good sandbox game out there called Minecraft. Okay, just using the bathroom and I'm there. Sorry. It's no... I don't mind. We've been doing some good fishing here. It's been fine. I don't mind if people are late. I'm a very easygoing guy. The story has a main story, side gigs that are always fun, and the opportunity to murk gang members. Okay, well, in an RPG though, I'm looking for more than that. Maybe the problem is probably me, chat, okay? But when I play an RPG, I want to have a house that I can customize, okay? I say it all the time and I stand by it. I want a house that I can customize, and I want to fill a bathtub full of money. It's one thing I really like to do. I want followers that I can basically enslave in some way. Just another thing that I like to do in an RPG. It's a roleplay game. Those are the roles I like to play. You know what I mean? I like a trophy room. I like to pick what trophies are going to go in that room. Hang on a second. Hello?
Oh, Sips, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's fine, honestly. I was just complaining about I haven't even played Cyberpunk, and I've been complaining about it for like an hour.
Did you see the video. Hold on. I mean, it's not very specific, I suppose. One second.
Right,
I'm gonna link you to it. I don't know if you watch this sort of stuff on your stream, but
Yeah,
this
sure.
video made me laugh so hard.
Okay,
It does
link it.
have a little music at the start of it, so you might want to mute it for like 15 seconds.
Okay.
But and that's not even. Don't click on that. That's not how that works. Okay, sorry.
I almost clicked on it.
I'm a
almost
mess
clicked on
right
it.
now. I'm a mess right now. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I know. My chat's saying don't open strange links. I almost did, chat. I saw a link.
Yeah.
I almost clicked it.
All right, there it is, right there.
Okay, hang on. Let me just pre-mute it.
Yes.
Oh god. Okay.
So this is a 35-second video of one continuous segment of gameplay from Cyberpunk, where a lot of things go wrong.
Okay, how do I get this? Oh, it's a Twitter link. Hang on a second. Let me open this link. Okay, okay, I'm watching it. Hang on. What happened to the car?
I think
Oh my god.
it got stuck in the concrete or something, and
Oh my. That's
it started
hilarious.
strong. I had like internet ADHD, where I
Oh
was
my
like, I don't know
God.
if I want to watch this whole 30-second video, and then
Yeah,
it hit
yeah.
like a lull in the middle. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll stick it out. And then when I got to the end, I was like, that was well worth it.
Yeah, no, that was the last like 5 seconds. I did the same thing. I actually looked at the time. I hovered over the video and looked at the time like at about 15 seconds to double check like, oh shit, is this actually only 35 seconds? Like, because I was already kind of bored, but the ending was well worth it. Holy crap. So wait, you want the link? Okay, hang on a second. Let me give you that link.
I can send
take
you a
it.
squad stream invite as well.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, do that.
I just did.
Okay.
But I am a little I'm embarrassed. I've played 11 hours of this game, and unfortunately it has not saved my progress, so I have to start from being a little fishing baby again.
You know what? I'm on the first lake anyway, and it really doesn't matter. Like, I use all the wrong baits and everything, and basically my chat spends the entire time I play this game having an aneurysm, it seems like. So it's, you know.
I feel like isn't this the game that has a lake? And I apologize, but
it's got a couple, I think, but
it has a lake, well, a bay called Penis Bay, but it's like Pinas. It does.
Penis. Penis Bay. I like that.
But I can't go there. I'm not level 9.
Where do I get the oh shit, I should probably hide this, right? Where do you get the Steam ID thing? I guess I gotta give you my friend ID thing, right? Is it profile?
Ah, yeah, okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about. So, I think
Top left. Top left.
I have my code here that I can just or I can send you this invite. Be careful if you're sending this in a public place.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, just send me your code and I'll add you. No, it's not public. I've yeah, it's fine. Don't worry, I won't leak your code.
Okay, I mean, the friend code is one thing. I just don't want to link whatever this. Like, this is a lot of commitment. It says you and your friend will be instantly connected when they accept. Like that. That sounds like what if you waited like 8 hours and then I was asleep when you accepted it?
Like instantly connected.
Yeah.
That's exciting, actually. They like an instant connect. I sent it. Was it instant?
Hold on.
Fuck.
Nothing I do is instant. I
don't even know if I'm.
Wait. I think it was instant. It was instant.
Oh my god. I had this issue with Steam years ago. Maybe they fixed it with Steam Friends, where I think early on when I started doing YouTube stuff, I was like, I would just like like leak out my account names or like and IDs and stuff because I didn't really think that anybody cared. And then I'd get tons and tons of like friend requests and stuff. And stupidly back then I accepted almost all of them. So I just had like no room left on my Steam's friend list. So I had to spend hours pruning out people that I didn't know, right?
Oh,
but
yeah, I can relate, yeah.
But I think that it somehow stayed full after a couple of years, and then when people I genuinely wanted to add to my friends list would send me invites, it would always say that it was full, even though it wasn't full. And I particularly had trouble with one guy. We just couldn't send invites to each other, so we just could not be friends on Steam for years. And even we wanted to play Dota and stuff, we had to do these big workarounds to get into the same Dota games, like we'd have to like convince other friends to like host games so that we could join on them, like
you could have like a middleman.
The middle friend, even though they didn't want to play and stuff. It was crazy. This went on for years, but now it seems to be sorted out, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Like, I think when I first got some traction on YouTube, like my average age of my viewers was like 14. And they added me on Steam, and I was like, oh, I'm famous. This is cool. And then like it was kind of like mellow. And then they all went to college, and they started messaging me when they'd get hammered. And and I was like, now it's just awkward. So I have pruned all of my socials a few times.
You have to, though. You got to keep it tight, right? Like
I agreed. Yeah.
Can't let anyone on there. Friends lists and stuff, it's tough.
People send me messages, they're like, oh, I love your videos, and I'm like, blocked. Stop wasting my time.
You don't do the thanks and then block? I always thought that was like a bit more funny. Thank you, blocked.
TY, I guess, and then like this poop emoji, and then blocked.
I like that. That's good. That shows style, I think. That shows some tremendous style.
Are you going to invite me? Should I invite you? I don't know. I have done this before, but it's been a while.
I'm in a private multiplayer right now. I'll just invite you. Hang on.
Yeah, send me an invite, and I'll see if I remember how to do this.
I don't know why this game insists on you having to scroll through like your whole friends list.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't just put the guy who's playing, the only guy on my friends list who's actually playing this stupid game, like on the top.
Have you ever played this? Have you ever played this multiplayer before?
Yeah.
Okay. I always thought it was weird. Yeah, because like I thought it would be like a cool like almost VR experience where like you and your friends could fish, but you actually can't see each other. I think you can see like your lines or something. Yeah,
it's really weird, isn't it? It's like a single player game, but you just get like this sort of token, like, yeah, somebody is here, but you're not interacting in the same space whatsoever. It's just a big jug.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of social. It's all right. It's no rush. It's gonna take me like 8 hours just to get back to having like some kind of bait anyway.
Was it at the top, chat, or what? Like, what am I missing here? Oh, there you are. Right at the bottom. Great.
And I have accepted. So I got a lot of questions. This is not an interview, but I got a lot of questions.
No, shoot. Great. I like answering questions, so
first up, I've been told we are both Canadian. Mm-hmm. I scouted out your Wikipedia article before this because I was like, I wonder where he's from in Canada. Uh-huh. You were from so I'm originally from Kingston, Ontario. So I'm familiar with the Ontario-ness.
Sure, I've been to Kingston a couple of times, yeah.
Is it Orleans or Orleans?
Well, we say like Orleans, like, cuz I'm not French Canadian, so Orleans, but I had a lot of French Canadian friends, so it's Orléans. you
Orléans.
They get mad, right? But yeah, we just said Orleans. But yeah, it's just a suburb of Ottawa, like a newer suburb too. It was like built in the 80s. Like I think I was born in 80, and we moved to Orleans in like 83, and then I lived there up until I was about 23, and then I moved to the UK. I live in Jersey now, which is like in the Channel Islands. It's like a small island. Yeah.
So I also went on a little rabbit hole because Wikipedia said you live in Jersey, and then I was like, I don't even know what that is.
No, most people don't.
Which is probably, and I'm somewhat geographically well versed by North American standards, so I was a little surprised.
Most people, like, because I met my wife. She's from here. She was born here. But we met on the internet in like '97, back when people didn't really meet on the internet, right? It's it was like we met on IRC in a chat room on IRC, which is kind of weird, right? But then we upgraded to like MSN Messenger. Actually, ICQ we used to use, and then MSN Messenger after that. But yeah, it's kind of weird. But I'd never heard of Jersey before either. Like it was just. I remember the first time I was gonna come over here to visit. This is after we'd met. Like she'd come to Canada to visit, and we met there. And then a couple months later, I was due to come out to Jersey. And I remember like trying to like book flights and everything, and my mom was like, "Just land in Heathrow and take a train." I was like, "I think it's an island." She's like, "You just take a train." Like, what? No, just like that lazy sort of like, I've never left Canada, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but you can figure it out, sort of thing. It was pretty funny.
So you have to, I assume you fly into England, like, I don't know what I call it, mainland England, because it's not really what it is, but and then you take like a tiny plane to Jersey?
That's right. Yeah. There's usually like a stopover, like a couple hours. It's kind of like, it'd be the equivalent of landing in like Vancouver and then waiting for a flight to like Victoria or something, you know, like Vancouver Island.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Well, I've been out your way many times. Well, my grandparents used to live out in Victoria, and I used to visit them every summer.
It's nice.
It is really nice. It's a beautiful part of the world. Really
I found out that Jersey and Guernsey are two different places.
Yeah, they're separate.
But they're
islands,
both Channel Islands.
Yeah. So there's another really small Channel Island called Sark. So that's like the third. Oh no, sorry. There's four. There's Alderney as well. Alderney's a little bit bigger. Sark's really small. There's not even cars on Sark. Like
really?
Yeah. You can take a boat there, and when you arrive there, a tractor with a trailer picks you up to take you up a hill, and then it's just bikes or walking. That's it. There's no cars. It's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah. They have like one ATM, and it's like attached. It's like welded onto the side of a trailer, like just in the middle of the town. It's hilarious. It's really funny.
I apologize to your chat too, because I'm sure you probably get asked these questions all the time because it's a little unusual. I mean, there's only like a few 100,000 people in Jersey, right? Or
yeah, it's like 100,000.
Okay,
so it's not that big.
But like Jersey has its own legal tender.
Yeah, it's got
like you can use Jersey dollars.
It's pound for pound sterling, and it's accepted in some airports in the UK where there's direct flights, but they'll just change it to like actual sterling or whatever. But yeah, they issue their own money here. Like it's got its own local government. It's kind of the same as like, you know how like there's like a parliament in Scotland. There's one in Wales. There's one in Northern Ireland, and like the UK.
The irony is Ryan is the perfect audience for
just
the
got sick of managing
story.
all of these places and just said, "You guys just fucking manage yourselves," basically. And Jersey very early on was one of those places, but it's like it's in a bit of a gray area too, where it's not technically part of the UK, even though it is, and it's not technically part of the EU either, even though the EU consider us part of the EU. And it's because it's a tax haven, so it's like
I read that as well.
Yeah, it's an offshore jurisdiction, so it's kind of like the same as like Cayman, BVI, like Luxembourg. So there's lots of banks have headquarters here, so that they can basically hide people's millions away from it's like mostly British expats that owe money back to the UK taxman, but don't want to pay it, so they just store their money here instead, sort of thing,
Like 27% of the economy is in financial services or something.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's huge.
Like I have a friend who is from Bermuda, and it's like almost 1-to-1. Like it's the exact same sort of. Like it's a very nice place. It's a nice island, but then also on top of that is like you can also go there to pay no tax.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And there's lots of like buildings here that have like say it's like a 2-story building, you think there's maybe like a company in there or two. There's like thousands. Like it's just mailboxes. It's just the way it is, yeah. But I mean it's a nice place. There's a lot of really wealthy people here. Like there's more sports cars over here than there are people. Not mine either. for the record. It's just one of those
I'm not
one of those
judging.
places, right? It's just kind of like that. So the cost of living is really high. Like, you know, it all sort of evens out, I guess. But it's nice. It's good, safe. It's quiet. You know, good place to raise kids. Because it's a small place, there's like rules on who can like move here and live here and stuff. So there's like
That makes sense, yeah.
housing qualifications and stuff, which, you know, we're exempt from because my wife was born here. And I just inherit that through marriage, sort of thing. So,
Do you ever feel like, and again, this is not me judging, but do you ever feel judged by people that are like from mainland UK when you say you live in Jersey? Like, do they assume instantly that you live there
No.
exclusively for tax purposes?
Not really. You get like there's a mix. Like some people just assume that you're rich because you live
Right.
here, which is, you know, there's nowhere is like that, right? There's always got to be people who aren't rich, right, to help people who are rich. You know, like you're not going to be rich and then like clean some dude's toilet, right? Like, but that's what they expect. Like over
Your
here,
own toilet, maybe.
Yeah, maybe my own.
In a pinch.
Yeah, in a pinch. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way. But and then you get a lot of people, like older people. This used to be like a summer destination, right? It's got really nice beaches and stuff. So, and it used to be cheap to come over here. Like it wasn't always the way it is now. So like the older generation of you know, like people in England will remember it as like they used to call them the bucket and spade brigade, because like every summer like people would just come over here and spend their summer vacation over here, like, you know, just going to the beach and whatever. So you get people who don't see it as like some tax haven, just see it as like a really nice place to go on a vacation or whatever. So there's like a good mix. It's not all bad, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's nice. If you're
I
ever,
just worried that like when you had to tell people that you're from Jersey, you gotta like. I wondered if you had almost a routine where you had to be like, but I'm not like the CEOs that move here, have a PO box here just for tax purposes.
No,
like I'm
honestly,
a real
like,
Jerseyan.
Like doing a bit about where you live, I had to do that way more, like saying that I was Canadian, right? Because like
Really?
yeah, because it's always like, oh, you got a fucking pet polar bear and you live in an igloo and stuff. Yes, okay, thank you. Like
Vice President Jean Poutin. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, way more from being from Canada than from here for sure. So I don't know.
I feel like I live in like Vancouver proper, and I feel like the most shit I get is from other Canadians. Like whenever Americans find out I'm from Vancouver, they're like, "Oh, I went skiing there once. It was really nice. Like I'd love to go there more, but obviously it's pretty expensive." And when I talk to other Canadians, they're always like, "Oh, well, you live in a house that's like $8 million. What does a cup of coffee cost? Like $1 billion?" And I'm like, "You pretty much got it." I get more hate from my countrymen than from any other demographic.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when did you move out to BC then? You said you grew up in Kingston, right?
Yeah. So I lived in Kingston from my birth in 1988 until I went to Queen's University and got my undergrad there, close to home. And then I taught English in South Korea for a year.
Holy crap.
Then I came back and I lived in Kingston for a year, and I met my wife online, not through ICQ, because it was slightly later.
Probably defunct by then. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And I moved out here because she was from here. And now,
oh, right, okay.
I mean, I got no problems with Kingston, but Vancouver is like almost objectively, it's just nicer. Like,
yeah.
Depending on what you're looking for, you know, the weather's nice and the scenery is beautiful. And
yeah, it's a lot milder out there, right? Kingston probably got fucking really cold in the winter and all the same stuff as Ottawa,
30.
right?
Yeah, it's like pretty much exactly the same.
Jesus. Yeah, I
so
don't miss
it's
that.
Like, I hear that.
God, fuck it. It's impossible, right? Like I'm, and it's weird too because like my whole time in Canada, because I left when I was like 23, and like I've been back to visit, but I haven't lived back there since. So it's been like 17 years. Most of my adult life has been over here. So like while I had teenage jobs and stuff while I was in Canada, I didn't really have to battle with like the weather to that extent. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have like a 9 to 5 that I had to go to and put those fucking rubber things over my dress shoes and stuff like that, you know? Like
it's horrible. And then people, I don't know, because I'm assuming from what I know about the climate over there, I'm assuming Jersey is like like France but milder?
Yeah, it's really mild.
Okay.
Like we rarely get snow. Like I think it's actually a bit warmer than mainland. Well, particularly the north, but like it's a couple of degrees warmer than the average temperature in London, sort of thing. So it's like,
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, it never really goes below zero. Like since I've lived here, like for like 17 years, it's snowed maybe like 3 times. Like
Wow.
in total. Yeah, I know, it's great.
So I don't know if you get the same thing that we get in Vancouver, which is like people from inhospitable climates will visit, and then they'll say things like, "Oh, it rains a lot. Like I could never live here. It rains a lot," or "I don't
Yeah.
know what I would do without the snow." And I'm like, "I'll tell you what you do. If you got to be to work at like 9 a.m., you get up at like 8:30 instead of
Oh
having to
my
get up
God.
at 6:45 to use like a little Canadian Tire plastic scraper to scrape off your windshield." And then
Holy shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember doing all that. I remember one year for Christmas, and this was a big thing. For Christmas, my mom got a button press car starter. Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the 90s, and everybody was like, everybody knew right away. It was like, fuck, that's amazing. So she'd wake
Genius,
up at like
yeah.
6 in the morning, start the car, and then like have a shower and have breakfast and everything. And then by the time she went out to go to work, the car would be completely defrosted because it'd been on for like an hour and it had heated up.
back when gas was a little cheaper. But,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, man, it was so funny though. It was just like it's really weird the sort of like environmental things that happen in a place to make your life a certain way, right? And the like the dumb things you get excited about around that too. It's like really weird. I used to hate shoveling the driveway, and I used to always have to do it, right?
Yeah.
And it would take forever, and I would hate doing it. And then my neighbor had a snowblower, so I'd be out there shoveling the driveway, and this guy'd just be like snow blowing next to me, and I'd just be like cursing him the whole time. But then he got a new one, and he sold my dad his old one, and it was just like a game changer. It was amazing.
It was fun.
Yeah, there'd be no snow, and I'd be like, I'm going to snowblow the driveway. Like I'd just be just any excuse to use this fucking snowblower. It was awesome.
I had like the flip side where like we had a lawnmower downgrade. Like I used to live in a duplex with my parents and my grandparents, and my grandpa had an amazing lawnmower that like he had a riding one that I wasn't allowed to use because I was like 11.
Yeah.
But he had like a nice, I don't know, like electric or propane powered one that was really nice. And then when my parents and I moved out on our own, we just had one of those weird like 1950s cartoon ones with 2 blades that you just push.
Oh,
and
man.
it actually turned it from like kind of a fun like shopping cart experience into one of the worst workouts you could ever imagine.
Jesus Christ.
Because it's also a chore.
Yeah, it's a chore. And I mean, like over here is different, right? Like even if you're lucky enough to have a backyard, like because the living conditions are a lot more cramped, right? Like like especially in Ontario, like you could live in like a decent 3-bedroom house or whatever, but have a big yard, right? Like you'd have a big like a big front yard and backyard. It was like an all day thing mowing the lawn. Fuck, it sucked so bad. And
I did want to
especially in
ask.
summer.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say, in the summer when it's humid, the grass grows super fast too, right? I don't know if you ever noticed, but just like have to mow the lawn every day.
Oh yeah, we're in a grassless existence. Here
Just
in the
rocks.
concrete jungle, yeah.
Nice.
Lots of concrete, lots of stone.
Good. It's much easier to maintain, right?
I did want to ask because like I've been to island nations before.
Okay.
Iceland.
Nice.
and-
Wow.
and-
What did you do in Iceland? Just for fun?
One time I went, there was it was the first media event I ever got invited to, and I
Right.
thought it was a prank because it was like I got started on YouTube and then I got a little traction, and then you get an email that's like, hey, we want to send you to Iceland to like play these video games, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this company, Paradox Studios. So anyway, so yeah, that was the first Paradox thing that I went to. It was very
nice.
nice. And then like 7 years later, I went to, my friend had a wedding on in Iceland. And
Right.
I accompanied them to be a guest.
I hear Iceland is really nice, actually. Like, kind of worth visiting. But I've never
It's beautiful. I would definitely recommend it. But it also made me want to ask, like, is Jersey like Iceland? Like, if you went to like a Subway for example, a Subway
Yeah.
sandwich restaurant, would
Sure.
a foot-long sandwich be the equivalent of like 17 or 18 American dollars?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the exchange rate is now. It's not that bad. It's not like
Okay.
it's not super high. It's not $18 that I know of. I think that it's like, what's the exchange rate right now? It's not so bad that it'd be that high, right? Like like say a foot long sub costs like 10 American dollars.
It's close, yeah. I think that's about right.
Is that about right?
It's maybe like 10 Canadian, so maybe like 8 or 9 American,
Okay,
but
if
you're
it
not off
costs
by
like
much.
10 American dollars, then in Britain it probably costs like £100. Like it's really bad over here. It's like such a rip off. I'm just joking.
I was like, isn't that like $120?
If it's like $10, it would be like £6 or something. You know, there's like not that much of a difference. Like, but everything over here is expensive. I don't know why, and it's not just Jersey. On we call it like the mainland, but in England it's the same. It's just like everything is just really expensive. There's no like free Wi-Fi anywhere either, which is kind of annoying. Like, you go like to an airport. Like, we went to Sweden. I went to a Paradox thing in Sweden a couple of years ago, and man, everywhere you went, it was like free, really fast Wi-Fi. Right? Like, it didn't matter where you were. I was on a train from the airport to the city, just like free, blazing fast Wi-Fi. It was incredible. I loved it. And then you get back to England, and it's like you get 5 minutes of free Wi-Fi, and then you have to pay $5.99 for like 15 minutes of Wi-Fi, like after that. And it's just crazy. But there's so many things that are like that in England. I find. I don't know. Maybe it's changing, but
I was in London once, and like my whole takeaway was like, well, there's a lot of history here, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful city, but also like, why is it $100 for 2 people to eat in a restaurant and the food's not even good?
No. Yeah, and you don't get like, as you know, you go to America, and if you got $100 worth of food in America,
you live like a king.
You'd eat for like 2 years, right? Like, you could take a doggy bag home and everything. It's insane. But like, no, over here, yeah, it's different for sure. There's a lot of things that just cost a lot for seemingly no reason, but I guess it's just the way that it is. Like over here, they have a saying that like, rip off Britain, and it's just kind of true. You know, there's some things just are a rip off for like no reason. But
I'm gonna catch you on this fish weight, by the way. It's taking me a bit. You're still like 5 or 6 kilos ahead of me, but once I get a couple of skills.
I'm sitting on a mountain of money as well. Like, I'm just being lazy and not upgrading or whatever. I think like the current equipment I have, I think the biggest fish I caught was like 19 kilograms or something.
This is pretty good.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not the honker that I'm hoping for though.
He knows the vernacular.
Yeah, no, Chat were briefing me before we started. He said, make sure you try to catch a couple of honkers before you start. But I didn't. Not the honkers I was hoping for. Hey, listen, in Kingston, did they have Loeb? Like Loeb IGA?
The grocery store, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So the chain, okay. I used to work at
It does not exist anymore, though.
No, it's gone now. It's got bought out by Metro, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I worked at a Loeb for like years. When I got a job there when I was like 15 and a half, which is like legal age to work in Ontario, I guess.
Yeah.
I got a part-time job at Loeb, and I used to pack groceries, and I worked my way up to the dizzying heights of working in the back room, which is stocking shelves and stuff. It's pretty good.
Wait, was Loeb was that the grocery store where like you checked out and they put your groceries in like a plastic tub, and then they rolled it out of the store so you could like drive your car up and just pick up your plastic tub?
No.
That might be AMP.
It might have been. Loeb might have done it at some point though, because like there was a big period where I didn't work there, sort of thing. Maybe they did that. I remember that from Trailer Park Boys, right? Wasn't that on? Wasn't that
I've
one of
only
the
seen like a
skins?
couple seasons, but like,
oh, okay.
It doesn't exist anymore. But people are saying like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I swear, because there's one of the guys I went to school with is saying that's AMP. So yeah, like once you paid for your groceries, you wouldn't take them out to your car yourself. they would put them in a box on like these rollers, roll them into the back room, and then you drive your car up to the front, and somebody would come out of the back room with your box and put them in your trunk.
A bit like the beer store. The beer store had those rollers. I don't know if they still do, but they had I never understood that though, like because it was seldomly used, right? Normally you just go out on the floor and pick the case of beer that you wanted and you'd be done, right? You wouldn't really need to use the rollers that much.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes if you wanted like a big like 24 pack of beer or something, and they had to get it from the back room, they'd push it down the rollers, but like it just didn't seem to happen that much. Ooh,
at my university beer store, they use the rollers every time. You would look at like I think it's a very foreign experience for people that are not from Ontario, but you would like walk in and there would be like a wall of labels. Yeah. And then you'd be like, ooh, that one has like a deer on it. That looks good. And then you'd,
oh my god.
One case of deer, please. And then it would just come out of the back.
On the rollers, yeah. I mean, rollers are fun, don't get me wrong. It's
a good time.
Yeah. I always remember like being a kid and having like we'd have a barbecue or something like that, and then the day leading up to the night of the barbecue, you'd have to go with your parents and they'd go to the beer store, and then sometimes they'd go to like the LCBO or whatever, and the smell, right? I don't know what the beer store smelled particularly weird, and then LCBO also smelled kind of perfumey and weird too, right? Like it was just I can't explain it. It's just like it's just those weird things that you sort of remember from being a kid, but they don't matter at all, right? Like it's just one of those things. I don't know.
Yeah, as an adult, when I go to the beer store, I'm just like, oh, it smells like my dad.
Yeah,
that joke doesn't even make sense because we don't even have the beer store.
No, yeah, because it's only an Ontario thing, right? The beer store.
Yeah, and in BC they have the very appropriately named BC liquor store.
Right.
Which is where you buy beer and alcohol, but they also have private liquor stores in BC.
Oh, okay.
But they're not allowed to compete on pricing. So, I'm not saying you can't get a competitive advantage, but you got to be creative.
Remember the meat store? I don't remember the meat store, but I remember M&M. You remember M&M?
Oh,
it was like the frozen food store or whatever. I don't know if there's
all the rage.
Yeah, I don't know if it still exists, but it was like you'd go there and they'd have like I don't know, like frozen lasagnas and stuff like that. And you just buy these massive lasagnas, like huge ones. You just buy them.
It was a grocery store that was just the frozen food section.
That's right. Yeah. Man,
I remember I there's a video probably from like 8 years ago now, because I'm sure you can relate. Like from age 10 to age 20, like every day had meaning. But then like from 20 to over 20, like decades go by, and I'm like, was that yesterday? And they're like, no, it was 10 years ago. But it was a video.
I thought today was Saturday. I took the day off today because I had to do like Christmas stuff. Like my kids are like get really excited for Christmas and everything, so I had to go do some last minute shopping and everything. We were like isolated for a while, and there's like a couple of days in between. It looks like we're going into like another lockdown, but stores are open, so we're like, okay, today we'll go. I'll just take a day off. I won't stream or whatever. And I was convinced it was Saturday. Like, it's like somebody was saying something to me earlier, and they're like, I was like, what? Why are they doing that on a Saturday? They don't normally do that on Saturday. Like, it's fucking Tuesday. Oh shit. Yeah, it's just like it's like a getting old thing, I think.
Oh, I've been there. I feel like I've been older than my actual age since I was like 12 years old. So
I'm 12.
At 32, I'm now like. I feel like I have the demeanor of like the average 50-year-old.
Yeah, no, it's like that. Your 30s are like that. But honestly, like I was saying this the other day, I think for me, my 30s were like the most enjoyable decade of my life so far. And that's saying something. Like I had a pretty good childhood. I had good teen years, school. I didn't have like much trouble at school or anything. I had fun, like going to like further education and everything and stuff was fine. But in your 30s, it's great because you've got more money and stuff, right? And you have like a bit more life experience. You got more wisdom. You don't like spend all your time just doing like really dumb things, or maybe you do, but it just seems like more natural or more fun somehow. I don't know. I like being in my 30s.
Yeah, I feel like like in late 20s and 30s are kind of like mashed together, but my early 20s is like you're figuring out how to be an adult. So you try
Yeah.
out all these things that like you saw in movies and stuff like that, and then you
Yeah.
go, I don't really think that's for me. Like I remember in university, I went to nightclubs now and then with my
Yeah.
friends, and they were
Yeah.
like all having a good time, and I was pretending to have a good time, and I
Yeah.
just thought eventually like I'm gonna see the appeal here. Yeah, just and then when you're 30, if somebody wants to go to a club, you're like, first off, what? Like we're old
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
then secondly, you're like, yeah, I'm all right. I'll just stay at home and like read a book or something.
Exactly. And then when you have kids, you have all the excuses you ever need to
Oh.
never do anything again, right? Like they just get you out of
I'm
everything.
learning. Yeah.
They're like, hey, you want to come to a wedding? I can't. I got 2 kids. Like, what am I gonna do? And then they're just like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, no problem. You don't
Good
have to.
point. Yeah.
You don't have to come. Yeah, it gets you out of like a lot of. I'm not like maybe that's an exaggeration because the weddings are normally pretty fun or whatever, but there's lots of like mundane crap that you can get out of doing, right? Like the minute you have like even like you've got a small baby, right?
Yeah, she's 3 months old, so it's like really early, but
months.
it's
That's
been a
really
great
cute.
year for excuses because like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
first like wait because there's a period for anybody that's not familiar. You normally don't like announce a pregnancy until like maybe the end of the first trimester. So
That's
we
right,
were
yeah.
like, how are we going to tell our friends that we don't want to hang out without offending them during these first couple of months where, you know, the first trimester can be pretty rough on the
Yeah,
mom.
and you have to start taking like better care of yourself as
Oh
as
yeah,
well,
and
right?
you don't wanna
Like
die in advance.
you
of
can't
the-
you really don't want to be around like secondhand smoke. You
Yeah.
don't want to be drinking anymore and stuff like that. Like you have to be. Usually that's the
then-
giveaway, right? Like if you are that way
Exactly.
inclined and then you start cutting out all that stuff, people are like, ah, okay, I know what's going on here.
But then we got super lucky and the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden we didn't even have to pretend. We were like, are you crazy? We can't hang out.
yeah,
There's
well,
there's
that's
a
it.
global flu epidemic right
There
now.
you go. So were you guys like when all of this stuff was kicking off and you were about to have a baby? Were you guys like extra worried or were you?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Like, I bet.
It kind of like there's I don't want to say positives and negatives because it takes I mean there's more negatives than positives for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But and I say that like I mean I shouldn't tell a joke about it because I know also like you had a scare, and actually like my grandma is isolating right now because of the fact that like the person that she rents a room to got a positive test, and now she's got some
Oh.
symptoms as well. So it's
Yeah,
like
geez, yeah.
I'm just saying that I also have the ability to tell the joke.
No,
Okay?
no,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
that's
giving
fine.
myself the license.
I think that's fine. Like honestly, you go ahead with the joke. License
Thank you
granted.
for the permission. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
No problem.
And then so wait, okay, no, I found it again. Another part of getting old. But I like going to the doctor's appointments sucked really bad because they're like, you know, the mom can go in, but the dad has to like wait outside in the car. That sucked pretty bad. And then, you know, we also did a lot of appointments like over the phone that were, you realize like, you know, it's good that we have that kind of medical attention where you check in all the time, but a lot of those appointments are pretty like unnecessary.
Right,
The,
right, yeah.
the doctor's like, we got to see you like once every 4 weeks. Then the pandemic hits, they close their office. They're like, we'll see you in a couple months. No
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah, and you're like, wait a second, you said 4 weeks. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter anymore. Like it's just all of a sudden this
That was
number
optional.
changes. Yeah,
The
yeah.
whole time it was optional apparently.
There's a lot to take in with your first baby too, right? And there's a lot of information that you have to sort of like sift through, right? Because you're getting, not only are you getting a lot of information from doctors and midwives and all that kind of stuff, but you're also getting a lot of advice from like your parents and like your partner's parents and friends who have had babies and stuff too. So you almost reach this point where numbers matter somehow, you know, like because you're talking about like trimesters and you're talking about like when you can say that you've had a scan and when you can announce to the world that you're having a baby and all that kind of stuff, to then go from like we need to see you every 4 weeks to we'll just see you when we see you is kind of like no. I need real numbers here. Like I'm used to data and numbers already. That must be kind of weird. So your baby is born in like what, September then?
Yeah, end of September.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's
that
pretty
is like
wild.
right in the middle of the pandemic too, right? 'Cause March
I
last.
think we got I wouldn't say lucky, obviously, but I think it could have been worse. Like, at least in BC, it was really bad from about, it was still better than most of Canada, but it was pretty bad from like March to May. And
Yeah.
then in June, July, August, we had like days where there was 1 case, 2 cases, et
Yeah,
cetera,
yeah,
et
yeah.
cetera. And then September, we got up to like 30, 40, and we were like, oh, this is as bad as it gets. And now we're at like 600.
Jeez.
So
We,
I think in some ways we kind of dodged the worst of it, but
yeah, it seems like the second, like the second wave is a lot worse, and they kind of predicted it too, right? They said that it was going to be
yeah.
worse, but like the UK now, like there's no flights even allowed to come here now.
Yeah.
And they're not accepting flights from here either, which is pretty bad. But I think in terms of Europe, I think UK is like one of the worst now. And there's this new strain that they found, even though they've got vaccines rolling out. So I don't know. I think
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
I've
they
been
should have
following.
just done like a hard lockdown sooner again, but I think they just didn't do it soon enough.
Yeah,
Same
that's what-
here in Jersey. It's the same.
It's
just
been
getting
bothering
bad.
me. Like, we have friends that like live in New Zealand, and I apologize to my chat because I told this story before, but I saw like this streamer post a video of them like getting drunk in public, and they were like partying, and I was so pissed. I was like, oh, this idiot, she's like spreading misinformation to her audience, and blah blah blah. And then I
Yeah.
got even more mad when I found out she just lived in Australia, where they have actually successfully handled it for the most part, and everything's still kind of open, and the caseload is extremely low. And I was just even more pissed.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
was
New
like, why didn't we do
Zealand-
that?
Yeah, because New Zealand like locked down instantly, right? The minute like there was even like a whiff of a virus going around, they locked down, and they did really well like in the first wave, right? But I don't know how they're doing now. Like I haven't really kept up with New Zealand news sort of thing, so I don't know. What
I see
the deal
videos.
is,
I think
but-
people are just like, it seems reckless, but only because I think, in our new normal, it looks weird. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're just walking around. It's like the
It's
summertime.
great, yeah.
So it's
People in chat are
messed
saying it's
up.
great. Like they're like virus free, pretty
Yeah,
much.
someone was like, I'm gonna go see a movie at the theater later, and I was like,
Wow,
whoa, what's this?
yeah.
This time traveler.
Man, I was watching. My kids were watching the Christmas movie Elf. You know that one with
Oh,
Will
yeah,
Ferrell? And it was the first time I've had this like since all of this started, and it was two security guards were just like lounging in like the lobby of the building that the dad works at. Like the publishing company or whatever. And they're just lounging and waiting for like the elf guy to come down. And I just thought, like, fuck, it's crazy that you wouldn't even see that now, right? Everybody would be wearing a mask. Nobody would be even sitting next to each other and stuff. And, like, I've now gotten used to all the distancing, the mask wearing, like, the sort of, like, upheaval of, normal life or whatever. And it made me feel not sad, but just, like, I think it finally registered that, like, things are just kind of different.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
it's changed a lot, yeah.
It's kind of depressing, really, isn't it?
But I will say, and I try to look for the silver lining. I've said this before. I've never had nicer shopping experiences.
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it?
Being the only person inside the store at any given time.
Oh my god.
It's a dream come
It's
true.
like heaven, right? You don't have like when you're looking at something, you're looking at like say you're looking at like pasta sauce, okay? And you're trying to like be a bit fruity, maybe you're gonna get like some new pasta sauce, and you're looking at all the different types of pasta sauce, and then some fucking woman, or well, I don't want to say woman because it could be a dude as well or whatever, but they just come in and they start doing the same thing you're doing at the same time you're doing it, and there's nobody else in the aisle, but they feel obliged to just come and stand right next to you and sort of occupy the space that you need to pick out this new pasta sauce. I
hear
hate
ya.
that, but you can't do that anymore, which is pretty
You're
good.
like, I claimed this spot earlier.
Exactly, yeah.
By being here first, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like they didn't get the memo, and it's because it was a more of a mental memo. Like that maybe they.
I
would
thought we
never
all got
get,
the
but
memo
at
years ago.
But at the
and
same
then-
time, I mean, geez, like just let a guy pick out his new pasta sauce, like.
I've only been here for 20 minutes. Like,
Just like really racking my brains, like, what's this white sauce? What is it? Cheese or is it not? I don't know. Like it's crazy. Oh man, fuck's sake. Hey, I was watching you guys play Rocket League briefly yesterday, talking about comedy movies. You were talking
okay.
about Rotten Tomatoes top 25 comedy movies, I think.
Well, I
or
not
something.
Rotten Tomatoes, but like I have like a mental guess for what the top 25 most popular comedies in my generation are.
Right, okay. So are you talking, like, because I was thinking about particularly 90s comedies.
Okay,
And it's surprising how many what I would consider to be big comedies from the 90s, just like off the top of my head, remembering what I would have gone to see in theaters, like between the age of, say, like 13 and like 18. So like 5 years of the 90s for me.
Yeah.
A lot of it was dominated by either active Saturday Night Live sketches or offshoots of Saturday Night Live sketches, right? With like people that had been on Saturday Night Live or whatever. Like Adam Sandler had a few big movies in the 90s, comedy movies like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, and a bunch of other ones after that were like not great. I don't even know if Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore were actually great comedy movies. Like at the time they were pretty good. But you had
we've had this discussion in my own circle a lot. I think we've come to the conclusion that Happy Gilmore is good, and then Billy Madison's probably good, and then the rest of them were kind of like, we don't know.
Yeah, Big Daddy was not good, right? Little Nicky was not really that good.
That kind of marks the decline for me, for sure.
Yeah, and what was that one? Was Big Daddy... Oh, no, there was that one... Was it Anger Management? But I don't think that was a 90s movie.
It's 2003, I think, but...
But it had, like, that ending where it was kind of like The Game, where it was, like... He wasn't even angry the whole time. It was another guy like doing a prank on him. Jack.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
and it was just like, what the fuck? Why did I watch this whole movie just for that? Just for it to end like that? Like it wasn't even clever or anything. It was just stupid, and the rest of the movie wasn't even that funny. And I just felt kind of like, oh no. I've wasted
any
a lot
movie
of
where
time
he
here.
does a funny voice, I think is like if you turn on an Adam Sandler movie and he's like, I talk like this, and you're like, save yourself 90 minutes and just back out immediately.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shout, I think, actually. What about Austin Powers movies though? I remember at the time they were like kind of funny, but I feel if I watched one now I would not find them funny.
I've spoken on at length.
Oh right, okay,
the
good.
Powers movies. I've seen all of them many times. My take on it is that there's a little nostalgia for sure, but Austin Powers 1 is an actually good to great comedy, maybe like at the 7 to 8 out of 10 level.
Right.
Austin Powers 2 is not horrible, but it starts to show it gets a little too Mike Myers-ian.
Yeah,
like he didn't have somebody to say no to him during the production, so he goes off on these like weird little like diluted tangents. But it's probably like a 6 maybe, and then Goldmember is like is probably like a 2 to a 3.
Is Goldmember the one that has Beyonce in it?
Yes,
and the Dutch guy, was it?
Yes, his name is Goldmember.
Oh, that's right. Goldmember himself. I barely remember that one. I barely remember.
It's for the best. That was maybe the first movie or the second movie I watched right after we had our daughter, and I was just awake at like 4 a.m. bleary-eyed looking for something to...
As you do, yeah.
Yeah, just pass the time.
Man. Yeah, I've been there. Does your daughter sleep well now, or is still pretty rough?
She was doing really well for a while, like well enough that I don't want to say how well she was doing because people will get like jealous. But she was maybe sleeping like 10 at night until like 7 in the morning, which is
that's really
incredible.
Good. That's incredible.
Yeah. But now she's like, she doesn't like to go to bed,
right?
Which sucks. So we go to bed around like midnight lately, and then she usually wakes up at like 4 or 5, and then we kind of, my wife usually very generously is like, I'm gonna do like I'll handle this one, you can sleep for a couple extra hours. But how old are your kids? There must be school age, right?
Yeah, I've got a 9-year-old now and a 5-year-old, and waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning is still a thing for us. Unfortunately, it happens. Sometimes they sleep in, but other times they just I don't know. When you're a kid, you're just so excited by like every goddamn thing in the world that you just feel compelled to wake up at 5 in the morning and run around. And well, with Christmas now, they're insane. Like, because they know what's coming, and they've got like advent calendars and stuff that they open every morning and everything. And I don't think it helps that the advent calendars have chocolates in them and they're eating them at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it should really
maybe
have
I'm
like
like
some
old
kind of
school.
sedative.
Yeah, maybe I'm like old school, but like I don't know how that
The two people
works.
I've watched for years and years
Yeah,
eating together.
morning candy definitely just. I think it kind of hits different.
Yeah. I think like I remember I don't want to say that we struggled with with my son, like our first, but we just weren't ready. Like and it wasn't from lack of like we read a lot of stuff, we bought a lot of stuff that we never used. Unfortunately, we were ready, technically ready, but we just weren't ready for like the massive change to lifestyle, right? Like we were like similar age to you guys. Like I was like 31 when my son was born, so
yeah, exactly the same.
So I'd had like basically a decade of like working, free time, like disposable income. I played like a lot of WoW, and you know what I mean, like I'd stay up until like 4 in the morning playing like video games and stuff, and I just had like a pretty average life sort of thing. And then when the multiplayer in this game is ridiculous, eh? I just see like this massive like wall going in front of me. But yeah, and then when he was born, and we were like living in an apartment at the time and stuff, and it was just like we just weren't really ready for like the upheaval, I guess, and it was like kind of tough.
Understood, yeah.
Like no sleep and everything, but we found sort of like. After like 6 months is a big one, right? Because 6 months generally they sort of like are holding up their heads. They can kind of sit up on their own a little bit and stuff. And then from 6 months to a year, they start doing like they start trying to walk. So like they hold themselves on things and walk around and stuff like that. And they tire themselves out more, right? So they just they just sleep a little bit better and stuff, which is pretty good. And then at 1, it's really nice because like my wife couldn't breastfeed. Like she just never really was able to do it comfortably and stuff. So we sort of like switched to formula really early on. But then from 1, you can sort of wean them off formula and just start giving them cow's milk and stuff. So it was like,
oh, I didn't know
from
that.
1, it just got really easy. There was just like a lot less hassle for stuff, You just like didn't have to prepare bottles anymore. You could just give them cold milk. Just shit like that, like.
But there's like a trade-off, right? Because right now there's a lot of like hands-on work. Like obviously you gotta watch the baby at all times.
Yes,
because they're pretty helpless.
True.
But then I'm also like I was talking to another friend of mine who has kids, and he was like, yeah, with my second one it was nice because I didn't think that the baby would just spontaneously explode, and I knew that like if I just left her like in the center of the bed, if I came back 2 minutes later, it's not like she's gonna get lost, right?
No,
like she can't do anything.
No.
But then like when they get old, they start like right now in my head, I'm already living like 3 years in the future where I'm like, what if she's 3 and she just like opens the door and then runs away?
Yeah, no, those are all real sort of things that you just sort of hang on to as well, right? Like, I don't know, you like I'm assuming you guys have like done some child proofing of like where you live, because you sort of do, right?
When like we've child proofed like a little bit, like we bolted some furniture to the wall instead of just letting it hang loose.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we own like that notorious IKEA dresser that like
yeah. No, but another good one to get is like we normally keep all of our cleaning supplies like under our kitchen sink. Like there's just like one cupboard that has all of our cleaning stuff in it, right? And we got like these little plastic. They almost look like the handcuffs that like soldiers use like on the Taliban. Like they're like plastic handcuffs.
Very
or whatever.
Familiar, yeah.
They're kind of like that, but they just keep your cupboards shut. Like we just got a whole bunch of those for like cupboards that have poison in them, basically.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and we have these like stupid. They're like U-shaped foam things that you can put on the top of a door. Have you ever seen these things?
I don't think so. No.
They're really good, actually. They're like there's like they're foamy U shapes, and you put them like on top of a door, and it prevents the door from fully closing, so like they can't get their fingers trapped in there. Yeah,
Oh.
because when they become mobile, they fuck me, man. They just like close doors, and like you don't want them to like lose fingers and stuff like that. So
I think that's one of the things that like is struck me is like, you know, I have always thought of myself as not very intelligent. And then you have a baby and you're like, whoa, like I'm actually pretty smart because this baby doesn't know anything.
no,
Like
exactly.
it took a lot of work to be as stupid and ignorant of the world as I am.
I know.
Like I've been learning 1,000 things a day for 32 years. This baby has no, like sometimes we have cats and the cats will walk over to the baby and the baby will look at him and I'm like, she has no idea what this is. She doesn't know, is this like another, is this just a weird looking version of mom and dad? Is this another baby? Is this like is this a bottle that has ears? Like she has no clue what's going on.
They're so
at all.
accepting though, right? Like,
she's not
say
judging
you've
at
never
all.
seen a cat before, okay? And nobody else on the planet had ever seen a cat before, and then you saw a cat at your age, you would freak out, right?
I
Like,
would not sleep for weeks, for
man,
sure.
and babies are just like, yeah, I guess that's normal. Like, they don't care. They just assume that everything's fine, right? Like, as long as you're around to take care of them or whatever.
That's what I was thinking. So like when we took her out in the stroller for the first time and there were like birds flying overhead. I'm like, man, I wonder what it's like to have this little tiny world and then go outside, which you probably don't even conceive of to begin with, and then see things in the air just zipping around.
Well, I think what helps babies as well is that I think people assume that they can see like we see, you know, like like if you wear glasses or not. I mean, you can see kind of far, you can see kind of clearly or whatever, but I think babies don't see that well. So like some of this stuff is happening and you're like, look, they're looking at the birds. They're not. They can't even see the birds. They're just like, they just can't see that far yet because their eyes are developing or whatever. But but like the older they get and stuff, I don't know. You know what? Like what you were saying about, you know, you're much smarter than your baby or whatever. If you want to have that experience like times 1,000, wait till your baby is like 5 or 6 years old. And then play Street Fighter 2 Turbo against them.
Let's go.
You'll feel like a god. It's insane. It's like the best feeling. Just like kick their ass. You don't even need to try. It's really good. Just a suggestion.
We're thinking of that actually because like so I'm not like an amazing chess player, but I was really good for my age when I was like 12 and 13. Okay. So my wife is like, you got to teach you know, our daughter how to play chess when she gets to be like maybe 3 or a little bit older than 3. And I'm like, all right, but she's gonna lose.
Yeah. When I play chess, I go hard.
Yeah, I mean, like you want me to deliberately make bad moves? That's not gonna prepare her to be a good player. I gotta, you know, she got to learn how to maintain control of the center and tempo and stuff like that.
Oh my god, yeah, you gotta. That's the thing. You can't learn by giving somebody like an easy pass. You know, they got to learn from their mistakes, right? And if they're playing against somebody who's experienced, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. Let's face it.
I might even, you know, throw some tricks in there as well. So
Wait, like tricks? You mean like those when people do those like, you know, checkmates in like 3 turns or whatever moves?
Yeah, like, you know, she's got to learn to defend against that because that's like very common at like a middle school age tournament. Almost everybody you play against is going to try that move on you. So she's got to have a defense for that. But even like some stuff where you get a checkmate scenario set up on like the right side of the board, and then you just start throwing some bait out on the left side of the board. Yeah. And you just go, hey, like here's a free bishop or something. Then when she takes it, you're like, checkmate. Sorry.
Checkmate. Sorry, that was the wrong move. Oh my god. Yeah, I never like I think I was saying this to you guys the other day when we were about to do Among Us with Gotham Chess. I never really got into chess. Like my grandfather taught me how to play, like the first time I ever played, and I remembered the rules and stuff, but I just never got into it. It was never like, I don't know. It's like it's a fun game, but I always felt it was like too infuriatingly competitive. You know, like I felt like if I played against somebody that was better than me, I felt really dumb for losing.
Oh yeah,
and I hated the feeling, sort of thing. And I never really warmed to chess like after that kind of thing. You know.
Well, I've been thinking about this more, especially because we have our own kid now. You kind of reflect on, like why you did the things you did in your own childhood. I think really what happened is like for whatever reason, when we learned the rules of chess at school, I was the best of like my 10 friends.
Right.
And then like that becomes an easy way to get like praise and self-esteem. So then you're just like, well, if I can beat these guys, then like maybe if I get a little bit better, I can beat like some other people. And like I really feel like as a kid, like what kids are into and what they're not into is determined by like, are they good at it immediately? Like I think it has
Yeah.
a big impact.
Yeah, that like the sort of early years, like 6, 7 years old, it seems like a really important age, right? To start getting into something, because like you look at pro athletes and stuff, a lot of them start around that age, right?
Yeah.
Like I think like Tiger Woods started playing golf when he was like 7 or something, right? And like just like as an example, but I don't know. It's like the younger you start, like I guess you just have a better chance, but you can't start too young because you don't know what the hell you're doing. But I guess 7 is just a good age to start stuff, which is a shame because my son is 9 now and we never really got him into anything. So like,
oh no,
he's not going to be like, he'll probably just be pretty average at a lot of stuff, which is okay too. But
we could existence.
We could have made like a golden goose there, get him into something at 7 and just like retire.
That's like, we're in that mode right now. We're like, how do we? Because she's still a blank slate. Is like, how do we
min-max our baby? Yeah. God damn, yeah. Well, I mean,
you got to start giving her like the high contrast books early on, so her eyes learn how to focus. And
yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit you can do for sure. Man, oh man.
How do we monetize this baby?
Some people think like that though.
Ryan's toy review. Like I'll admit I don't know anything about the parents. Of
no,
Ryan's
I met. I don't want to like. I went to an event in LA like to do with YouTube. This is years ago. It was like for. Have you ever heard of that Anki Drive? It was like like the phone controlled.
RC cars.
Yeah. And it was like a deal through Maker. Like we were with Maker at the time. And me and a guy that I work with went out there and did the deal or whatever. And it was a really weird spread of people, but it was all Maker people. So like PewDiePie was there, and like we met like the guys from Game Grumps, and but there was a whole bunch of other people there, like kind of like Ryan's toy review. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was a young kid who did like Lego box like unboxing and stuff like that. But he was small, right? He was like 8 years old or whatever. So his dad was with him all the time. But it was just like, it felt kind of like it was his dad, right? But he was just using his son as like content sort of thing. And it was
did you have like an existential crisis at some point when you got invited to the same media event as an 8-year-old?
Kind of, yeah. Because it was just,
I think I would be like, what?
It was weird. It was around the time when Disney took over Maker as well. So I think they were trying to like push, like the sort of all this kind of stuff. And it was really odd. It was really weird. I mean, it was a fun event and stuff, but it was just weird to see that firsthand, like, I mean, you could watch these YouTube videos and just make your assumptions or whatever, but actually seeing like the kid there with his like parents and stuff, and like, I don't know. I could never do that. I would never like enjoy doing that. You know what I mean? Just putting my kid in front of a camera and then escorting him to events and stuff. It'd be really weird.
It's also like you're making me think of this. I forgot that golden era of YouTube. Not that YouTube's necessarily like screwed or anything. I remember like when all the big companies got involved with the MCNs and had way more money than they knew what to do with.
That's
they
right.
were grossly underpaying all of their creators.
And
I just remember like I was with Machinima, which is a whole
right,
other ball of wax, but
they were big too. They were big time, right? Like that.
They
was
were
like
at the time when I got signed by Machinima. They were the second biggest channel on YouTube.
Wow,
which is just crazy to think about. And what's funny is that like they had a lot of controversies over the years. I had actually just like a completely copacetic experience with Machinima. I think it's one of those things where like if you were kind of big under Machinima early, you got maybe exploited a little bit.
Right.
And if you were just kind of like a semi nobody, then you were just like,
They just left you alone to do your own
as long as the
thing.
checks keep coming in, I got no complaints. But
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that for years. Like I'm just like I've been the same sort of thing. Like I've never really felt like overly like not exploited. Like I've just felt like just do whatever you're doing sort of thing, and I've just sort of done that, and it's been pretty nice. But yeah, the MCN stuff, because I guess Machinima doesn't exist anymore, right? Are they just gone?
So yeah, no, it was very stressful, because you're like with them, and then they get bought by Warner Brothers, and I don't know how it works on the Maker side, but as I understand it, Maker also kind of just dissolved.
It's gone. Yeah,
really
it doesn't
telling
exist
anybody
anymore. Yeah.
So like the way that it worked is like it got bought by WB at a point, and then you see the news and you're like, that's funny because I haven't gotten an email about that like at all, and this is like my job. And then like 6 weeks later they're like, we got bought by WB, and you're like, what does this mean? Well, you're invited to like the Aquaman premiere if you could fly yourself to LA. But and then like WB sold that, they restructured and sold that to Full Screen.
Right.
Which is, it's been fine working with Full Screen. Like I'm still with Full Screen, but
okay.
I just wish like that some executive, like when they signed these deals, like before they went out for their celebratory dinner, they like sent out a notice to the 15,000 people that rely on the organization for their livelihood, and we're like, just so you know, here's a heads up.
Yeah. No, it's too much to ask. There's like most MCNs are just like, they only care about like 5 people in the network actually, and then everybody else just like, oh, whatever, like you exist, I guess, like just barely. But these big boys are like the ones that we're worried about. Yeah, well, it was like that with Maker, like but Maker got bought by Disney, and then we were still with Maker for a while when they were bought by Disney, and we had a couple of years where we had like just some really, like you said, like you could go to the premiere of Ant-Man and stuff like that. And one time we were out in LA doing something totally different. I think we went to like BlizzCon or something, and Maker were like, hey, can we take you to Disneyland one day? And we're like, okay, sure. And because it was all Disney anyway, like we got like the VIP tour and stuff, which was kind of cool. But like that's about it. And then a couple years later we left and just made our own MCN. So which is not totally different to Maker. Well, I guess it's not so much like,
but now you're in the
it's only people that we know in the network, so it's different in that sense. But I mean, it's just an MCN, right? There's just it's not terribly interesting. Like I wouldn't want to run one personally. Like I think it would be really boring. And I just don't even really know what benefit there is to
I don't get it either.
I don't even really understand how they make money, but they seem to somehow. So
way back in the day, and I'm sure you know this, but way back in the day, they used to make a ton of money because whatever you would get paid on YouTube, they would just give you like 50% or less.
Yeah.
And then like it at the time, I was like, I don't know, maybe like 23. And I was just like, what? You can make money on YouTube. This is amazing. So I don't care, whatever. Give me 10%. I'll just work 10 times harder. And then eventually there was like a lot of controversy. So they went to like 60-40. And then like now the deals are literally like some of them are like 100-0. And I'm like, how do you even exist?
Why? Yeah, why? There's no point in even doing that, right? Like it doesn't even make sense. You gotta
like I'm not against it. Like there was one time, so and again this is like emblematic of the weird things about YouTube, but I titled an Escape from Tarkov video Blinded by the Light, and I got a DMCA takedown from the Entertainment One film distribution company because they had a movie coming out called Blinded by the Light and did
come on.
And having a network was really helpful there because the network was like, we'll talk to YouTube, we'll like get it sorted out, and it got it sorted out in like 12 hours or something, which is pretty good. But
man, I got sued by Germans one time for...
Really?
Yeah, and actually being in a network, a similar story helped. I got sued by a company in Germany for using, that bit of music, I can't remember the name of it, but they use it in 2001 Space Odyssey, like the... Yeah. So I used to use that because I used to use this royalty-free site for music, like when I did edited YouTube content, like Kevin MacLeod stuff. You probably came across Kevin MacLeod, and it was good because he had all this music, and all you had to do was sort of say, you know, thanks Kevin MacLeod for letting me use this music in the description or whatever, and it was fine. You could just use it. And one of the songs was that, which was considered kind of like a public domain song, right? It was like an old orchestral song that he just did like a cover of or an arrangement for. But it was perfect. It worked for lots of like moments in videos or whatever pretty nicely. And so I used it a couple of times. And then like the network I was with got contacted by this German company and like, we want to sue this guy for using. And I actually had to pay. It was like initially I think they wanted like 50 grand or something. And in the end I had to pay them. I still had to pay them like 7 grand. God. That was the settlement in the end. And I think it was because the network sort of said, you can't take 50 grand from this guy. Like,
that's crazy.
He's not even worth 5 grand. Like, you'll completely destroy this man, sort of thing. So I was thankful for that. I still had to pay a little bit, but yeah, it was pretty weird. This is years ago.
It's a weird era of
such
YouTube,
a weird thing, isn't it? But it's scary now, right? On Twitch with all the DMCA stuff.
Yeah,
you got to be really careful, like. Because you may not get fined, but it looks like there's some stuff going on in the U.S. where you could potentially go to jail. Like,
I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, it's scary, and also like, I don't know. I guess like sometimes I'm too much of like a contrarian. I guess I don't think the DMCA stuff is good at all. But
no.
For years, because I had this experience on YouTube, I've been telling people like, hey, you shouldn't like use other people's faces and stuff in your emotes and then sell them, because I think like one day the reckoning might come. You probably shouldn't play like Spotify's most popular 200 songs forever.
Yeah.
And then the day kind of came and people were like, how am I supposed to know what's okay and what's not? Then I'm like, you know.
Yeah, and like for the Twitch stuff, there was no way of doing it. Like when I was going through clips, like you probably had to do the same, right? I had to delete all your clips and VODs and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was going through clips, I knew like probably like my top 15 clips didn't have any music in them. And, you know, they were there and they were fine and I wanted to keep them or whatever. But it was just impossible to go through all the clips. Like I had thousands and thousands of clips that had like one view that there's no possible way I could go through and
forever.
Yeah, so in the end, I just, like, there was no way to just sort of say, like, keep 15 and then delete everything else. So in the end, I just had to go for, like, the big magical button that just deleted everything, and it took, like, 3 days for it to delete everything. So dumb.
Yeah, same. I regretted doing it. Well, not regretted, but I hesitated to do it. But then once I did it, I was like, now we can start from...
I think a lot of the stuff you'll, like... your clips and stuff are probably just floating around on YouTube, right? Like,
yeah, I made a habit of like exporting most of the streams. Like, there's streams that I don't export. Like, if we get in like a huge argument or something like that, I'm like, I'll keep that one to the 60-day.
Yeah.
Lost for, but
oh my God.
But yeah, there's also like, and I thank you for reminding me, by the way, chat. But there's like several editors in the community that will take the raw Twitch VODs and slice them into compilations and stuff like that. So I made sure that like I resisted for so long because I was really paranoid about the MCA forever. So I was like, we're pretty safe, but there's always the chance. So eventually the paranoia got the better of me, and I like gave them the heads up for like 48 hours, like download whatever you want to download, and then it's all gone.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did. I did sort of similar. I like leading up to deleting everything. A bunch of people just sort of made like, hey, I did the top 50 clips. Like they just kept a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all on YouTube, so it's pretty good. Whew.
Yeah.
God, that took a long time to reel in. 21.79 kilograms. That's a honker.
I'll give that the honker seal of approval.
$316 I just sold it for too. Should probably buy some new stuff.
You got me thinking about like 2013 era YouTube again. I remember.
Yeah.
I
It was
remember
such
like
a weird time, right? Like, how did you get your start on YouTube? Like, what made you decide I'm just gonna make YouTube content, or like, was it like a more organic thing?
yeah, it was like this. So basically, like I had in 2010, I was going to go teach English in South Korea, and then I had a job lined up in like July. This was like the summer after I graduated from university,
Yeah.
and I had a job lined up in Korea in July. And then my boss that was going to give me the job was like, "Oops, we hired somebody else, even though we told you had the job." And I was like, "Okay, that sucks." So I got another contract in Korea, but it didn't start for like 3 months. As like I got to do something. So I started just making YouTube videos, and then kind of like Super Meat Boy came out around like that October maybe, and it
Right.
got like because nobody else was making videos on YouTube, there were like 8 gaming channels. Nobody else was playing Super Meat Boy, so when Super Meat Boy got popular, then like I kind of grew along with it, and then like that happened for multiple games throughout my early years on YouTube.
Yeah, because you did lots of Binding of Isaac, right?
I still do,
And you still
believe it
do.
or not, which is crazy.
And is
And
it the same devs that did Meat Boy? Oh, it's
uh,
because they're very similar looking, kind of, aren't they? Like the
yeah.
art style and stuff. But
So
I never knew.
Super Meat Boy was made by a team of 2 people.
Right.
The designer went on to design the Binding of Isaac.
Oh, right. Okay.
So there is a connection, for
Right.
sure.
Okay.
And then, like I got signed with Machinima while I was still teaching, and then I was like, I'll give this a try for like a couple of I remember thinking to myself like, oh, if I could do this full time for like a year, that would be an incredible experience. And now that was like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or something.
Yeah. Man.
But
Yeah,
what about
time
you?
flies, eh? Similar sort of timing, 2011. Actually, so I used to play lots of World of Warcraft. I started playing when it came out in 2004, and I was part of an online community called somethingawful.com,
Yeah. Okay.
like the forums. So you're known as a goon if you're like a forum goon for Something Awful. And when World of Warcraft came out, I played with goons because there was just through that forum was just super easy to organize, like, guilds and stuff like that. They had a big EVE Online guild, and they still do, which is like this big griefing, like well organized griefing machine in EVE. We used to play Planet Side, and then we used to play Star Wars Galaxies, and then World of Warcraft came out, and it was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna join like the European. I was living in Europe at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna join the European Goon Guild, which at the time was called. It was always Goon Squad, but this one was a European Goon Squad, so it was. And it was on an RP server, so it was called Ye Olde Goon Squad, like old English, right?
Yeah.
Which short was Yogs. And
Okay.
yeah, and I used to play with Lewis and Simon, who were goons as well, in this guild. We did all like the raids of the day or whatever together. We used to hang out on back then Ventrilo a lot, and then in like 2009 or 2010, I think, I was working as like a web designer for like a tech company over here, and Lewis and Simon had started podcasting because that was all the rage back then. And it was not like it wasn't like a massively successful podcast. I think like mostly just like friends and stuff listened to it. But then it started sort of getting some reach outside of just like goons and like the friend circle. People were listening to it. So then they started just dabbling with like YouTube stuff. And they were just doing mostly like WoW content. And they were like, they did okay off WoW content, but then Minecraft was released, like, and it wasn't just like the browser edition or whatever, and they did a couple of videos on that and started getting really big, and then they made like this big sort of like role play series of it, and then they got really big, and they used to use like as sort of like like kind of like sidemen or whatever, like we all had Minecraft accounts, so like people would like jump in and play as like NPCs in some of the videos and stuff like that. And these were all people that we still played WoW with, or we were playing like a lot of Heroes of New Earth with at the time or whatever. And that just went on and on for like a couple of years. And then 2000, sorry, this is the longest story ever. It's probably really boring.
Cool. Also, like,
and then
you're talking like my Facebook feed.
I know, it's crazy, right? And then so in 2011, my wife was heavily pregnant and about to go into labor, and I went to the hospital with her, and she gave birth and everything. My son was born, and he was born like super early in the morning. It was like 6 in the morning or whatever. We'd been up all night, so my wife was like, okay, like, you know, just go home and get some rest or whatever, and then just come back like whenever you're ready, or like later in the evening or whatever. So I went home, I got some rest, and I woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna play like some open TTD for a bit, like before I go back to the hospital, you know, like just get a cheeky, like, you know, hour in or whatever. But then Lewis was live streaming. He'd start like, because at this point, like even on Twitch, this is like 2011, right? He was doing like a charity stream for, you know, just like a Christmas charity thing. But Simon wasn't feeling well or something. He wasn't there, and like they were like kind of like a duo at the time. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to like just hop on and play some game with me?" And I was just like, "Whatever." Like I wasn't really like into any, like I didn't really understand. I didn't watch a lot of YouTube or anything back then. I didn't really get the culture, but I played a lot of games. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. I'll jump in and play some game or whatever. And so we played this game on a live stream, and everybody seemed to enjoy it and stuff. And then that night he was like, hey, make a YouTube channel and we'll get you like into our network or whatever, and just start making videos, and you could just play games for a living all day, every day if you want. I was like, okay. So
you had a huge week. It
was a tremendous week. Yeah. So that's what I did. I just started playing games and recording them, and I felt really dumb doing it at first. And it was like kind of awkward to explain to my wife what I was doing and stuff as well. She thought I was like wasting my time and everything.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. That's it. Like just from there, like they were already really big, really established. I remember I created a channel, and the first time I posted a video, I couldn't believe it. Like overnight, I got like 60,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
like
pretty good.
Yeah, it was insane, right? It was just like completely like there, ready to just be inherited, sort of thing. So it was like in that sense, it was easy. But we got into Minecraft, and we started playing a lot of Minecraft because it was really popular back then, and we did well off of it. But then we sort of went through this period where, because we weren't really like bred content creators, and we sort of like inherited some of this, we just went through this phase where we were like, I'm sick of playing Minecraft. I don't want to play it. I want to play stuff I want to play. And then kind of discovered over time that it just didn't make for good content. And so like, it was just like this huge period of like being kind of angry and not understanding the algorithms or how anything worked, sort of thing. It was just really weird. And then we just sort of like came back around and started finding like other stuff to do that was then popular again. And like I don't know, early on it was like a bit of a roller coaster, but
it's crazy to for sure.
It leveled out, and it's like much better now. Like I have a better idea of like what I like to do, but I also have a better idea of what works as well, which I never had back then. So like in that sense, it's more enjoyable. But I don't know. It's still, a lot of it still feels like the Wild West, right? Like it's just like
yeah, like the fact that, I mean, so you and I have both been doing it for like the same amount of time, basically.
Pretty
like
much, yeah. It sounds like it, yeah.
It's so weird to me. Like, I mean, obviously we've seen channels like come and go, and some of the channels that were enormous on YouTube just never they never adapted, or they decided like, actually I hate this and I'm gonna retire like immediately. And then, you know, channels pop up and you're like, oh, this guy's growing pretty fast, and then the next year he's on like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. It's just it's insane to me that there are now like kids who grew up knowing that you could just like do this as a job instead of accidentally like getting it as a job by posting a video that did really well. Like there's so many YouTube channels where I try to like remind people, like some of the people that are really famous on YouTube that have been around forever, basically they had like one video where they ate something and it was really messy, and then they got 1 million subscribers, and now they have like an 8-figure net worth.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? I remember back then the big channels were like playing Happy Wheels. Remember the Happy Wheels?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and it was like the Toby, was it what
Tobuscus and yeah.
Tobuscus? Yeah, he used to play Happy Wheels. I remember like sometimes I'd look at those videos and they just have like millions of views. PewDiePie played a lot of Happy Wheels. Uber Haxer Nova, remember? He
I,
still streams and stuff. Like he's around.
yeah.
Yeah, but like and Smosh, they were really big back then too. Remember Smosh? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I
They
think
also
they're still going,
out.
but
They spun out like the brand into like a Smosh Games brand that's still super popular as well.
like, jeez.
Which
And
is I remember like so like the first few media events I went to, it was all the same people because there were only, I don't know, probably like less than 200 English speaking YouTube channels that were doing this full time. And it would always be like me and I don't know if you know them, but you've probably heard of them before, but it would be like me and like Angry Joe and
yeah.
Gassy Mexican and like other like people who have been doing YouTube forever. And then I remember like I went to like media events again in like 2017 and 2018, and people started introducing themselves, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are at all. And then I looked them up, and I'm like, you have like 8 million subscribers.
Yeah, I know,
crazy.
and a lot of them seem like to be like Minecraft YouTubers, right? Who
Yeah,
are
yeah.
still really big. Like there's some really big Minecraft YouTubers, but when I started doing YouTube, they would have been 12 years old.
Yeah.
And only now they're like pushing 19 or whatever, but they have, like you said, 30 million subscribers. Like I've just like I stopped like really like looking at YouTube stats and who was doing well on YouTube so long ago, and like I've never really looked back either. Like I don't know. I don't know how you like. Have you ever been like into stats like and algorithms and all that kind of stuff on YouTube, or do you just sort of think like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I'm gonna do and hope for the best?
I think I was at the start for sure. Like in the first couple of years, I was like, I want to be like first on the like I want to be ranked first for the search rankings for this game that like I don't think there's going to be a lot of competition for, but I think it's going to be like really popular.
Yeah.
And then like I think I just got to a point. It's been like a gradual philosophical change over the years where I realized like I'm probably not one of those channels that is has like a mass appeal, if that makes sense. Like
I get you. Yeah.
like what we're doing right now, it's not like if I put this up on YouTube with like a super cool like rainbow thumbnail, like not a lot of like 15-year-olds are gonna be like, oh, this is I gotta tell my friends they gotta watch 2 hours of fishing with
These guys are talking about their kids and stuff. This is fucking awesome.
So like I think I just eventually I was like, you know what, like I never have had a truly enormous community, but I really do think and from what I've heard, because like you, I actually do not watch that much YouTube or that much Twitch. From what I've heard, you kind of got the same thing where we've both been sort of blessed to make more or less the kind of content that we want to make, and people like they stick around. They've stuck around for like a long time, and the community is very vocal about like, hey, we want more fishing and like random conversations. We don't really want like you to pivot to being like Among Us kill compilation.
No,
like that.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't know, like you are naturally very good like at talking, like conversationalist, like funny and stuff like that. And I think if you have those things, you're crazy not to do content like that, right? Like because I feel like I'd never watch somebody be really good at a game but then have a good personality at the same time. You know what I mean? And like
It's
maybe
rare.
that exists, but I don't know if I think it's very rare. You know what I mean? So like it feels like sometimes, maybe not all the time, but it feels like it's kind of like one or the other, right? Like you can either be super good at games and people watch you just for that, or you can be like on the other side, maybe not amazing at games, but probably still pretty good at games, like me.
Better than
But be able to just like talk about whatever, or give off that vibe that the people are just sitting on a couch next to you and hanging out or whatever, like Like, did you ever have that person in your childhood where you'd go to their house and it was like that? They were
Oh
like
yeah.
just playing Metroid or something like that, and you would just make jokes and stuff, and it was just you just hung out sort of thing, and it was you just like would spend a summer doing that or whatever. I feel kind of like that's how people consume YouTube and Twitch, right? They just it's like that but like all the time sort of thing, but or
Yeah.
maybe not as fun.
I think like that pretty much hits the nail on the head for me. Like I didn't originally get into like I mean I like video games, and for a while I thought I was like I wanted to be like a video game journalist, you know, like
Right. Okay.
I
Yeah.
wanted to go to like conventions and interview developers and be like, is this coming out on PC or whatever? And it's also there's been a lot of pride lost for me as well, because I was definitely as a teenager like one of the best gamers in our group. Like I usually was like top fragger in the lobby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now every time I go live, I'm just like, oh man, this is like I'm just getting crapped on by like 12-year-olds over and over for making like small mistakes.
I know. Well, see, I was playing Apex Legends not too long ago, and I was particularly disappointed recently with the whole TOS thing. Not that I use the term simp much or
Okay.
or incel. I don't really, but man, if somebody frags me hard in Apex Legends, you bet I'm questioning their virginity like
Okay. Yeah.
immediately, like that's a go-to
In the
for me.
past.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, this person clearly has not felt the touch of a woman like in his life to be this good at Apex Legends. Like I think that's like a natural reaction
Right.
to getting your ass handed to you by,
Yeah.
like you said, probably a 12-year-old in
And that
Apex
was true
Legends or
for
whatever.
me when I was good at games as well. Like if somebody had thrown that insult to me, I would have to be like, you know what, fair play.
Yeah, it's
You got me.
so I mean it's yeah, so like I don't know what I'm going to do now that I can't throw that one out. I guess I'll just have to think up some new insights. It's childish, but
Doesn't it piss you off? Like sometimes I follow these. I think I'm just like a little bit of a sore loser. So there's streamers that I watch that when they get beaten in a game, they'll just say like sincerely good game and then
yeah.
move on. Like man, how do you do that?
No, I can't. I
Like,
can't.
I'm
There's
pissed for like at
degrees.
least 10 minutes.
There's definitely degrees though, right? Like at the same time as I wouldn't maybe say GG because I felt like it wasn't a
Not a
GG for me,
yeah.
I still wouldn't wish like some form of death on my opponent either. Like you ever see those screenshots where they're like, just met a really interesting fellow in a game of Hearthstone. Like he just did like Dr. Boom on 7 and the guy's like, I hope you fucking die in a fire and I fucking hope that a plague of toads
Yeah. No, I hear
ravages your
you.
village and stuff, and it's like, whoa, like it's just Hearthstone. Like I'm in the middle there somewhere of being a sore loser. You know what I
I
mean?
think I would say that I am also in the middle.
Yeah.
But I have to hide it for sure. Like I get mad sometimes, and I'm like, what would I want to see if I were on the viewer end? And I just go like, good game, and then especially like in chess because you're actually being beaten by somebody's like just their pure brain,
Yeah.
and you like didn't see something obvious, and then they do it to you, and you're like, okay, well played, that was good, that was good. In my head, I'm like, you fucking trying this cheap trick that 99 times out of 100 that wouldn't work, but just because I'm streaming it worked, and now you think you're smarter than me.
Oh, you have
Like,
more restraint than me. Like sometimes I can't help myself. Like I will just sit there and complain for like an hour about how bullshit that was. Like sometimes it just gets the best of me, being a sore loser. I don't know if it's like, maybe it's like an Ontario thing. I don't know. It's just like,
because I have a theory about this. Were you an only child?
no, I have a younger brother. He's like a younger brother. He's like 2 years older than you. He was born in
Okay.
'86.
Because as an only child, like I think my parents let me win a lot.
Right.
And also whenever I played video games, I played against like the computer, and I would just set the difficulty at like the hardest level I could beat 100% of the time. So I just never built up like a resistance to losing
No.
that didn't impact my self-esteem.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, if you're conditioned to to win most of the time, right? Like you are going to find it hard to lose like when you leave that bubble eventually
Yeah.
because you have to at some point.
And I will say I did play a lot of team sports as a kid, but
Okay. Well,
I
like
was
in terms of like the non-organized team sports that you'd play like at recess or whatever,
yeah.
were you the first draft pick for like whoever got to pick the
No,
teams or?
I would probably be. I was usually like a middle draft pick. I think
Yeah, I
if we
was
were
the
if
same.
like a trivia competition, they'd probably be like maybe first or second. But
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
do too much trivia at middle school recess, unfortunately.
No, I wasn't like last. I wasn't last pick, but honestly, the people who were last pick were just like, oh my god, like they were like hopeless. Like, not like I don't want to be mean, but like fuck me, man. Like some of them were just like, I don't
I
know,
know what
like,
you're saying.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I remember this. I remember a guy that used to get picked last a lot, and he was actually kind of a nice guy. Like we hung out with him a bit, but there was just something like I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It's just like something slightly off about him.
Right.
I feel like kids have some sort of radar for this stuff that you can't explain, but like you just know that he's not just
Something
like
at home is a little weird, you know.
yeah. I don't know what it was, but so this poor guy got wedgied a lot. Like it's just the way that it is at school, right? There's always some guy will just get a wedgie from time to time or whatever, and this guy got wedgied a lot. But his attitude towards it wasn't so bad, you know? Like he was like he would kind of like laugh along with it, almost like he was like,
No.
"Hey, yeah, you know, I'm the guy who gets the wedgies all the time, guys, you know, whatever."
It's like even worse.
It's,
Like,
yeah, it was though. It was even worse because the thing is, it worked
no.
okay in our age group, like in our year, because he sort of like almost had like a bit of control over it because like he knew the guys that were doing it, but he was like that to some of the older kids at one point, and they just went nuts. Like they really took advantage of it, and they gave him like the biggest wedgie I'd ever seen in my life, and it was actually kind of sad. Like he was he was like kind of like he was hurt by not so much the wedgie, but he was hurt by the
Just so
fact
you
that
know,
he'd
your
like
entire
lost that
audience
control,
is the
right?
kid that got
Like,
picked last
and you could
BTW.
see
This
it.
is
Like,
my
oh man,
favorite
it was like
stream of the year.
it was pretty weird.
that
I don't really
is
know
a
where I was going with that one. Sorry, it was just
sad stories I've heard. A kid who's getting wedgied, but trying to be in on the joke at the same time.
exactly. Yeah, I know it is really sad, isn't it? But
There's a lot of stories like that. That you think of back to like as kids, you don't know like the social rules.
yeah,
I was never really bullied, and I was never really a bully. I existed kind of in that fluid space in between. But
Yeah.
I remember once, you know, when you're a kid, like we just made up like we were like, oh, we're gonna be like the whatever club. We're gonna be like the cool guys club
Yeah.
or something. So there were like 6 of us hanging out, and then we were gonna have like a vote on who gets to be in the cool guys club. It's probably like 4th grade.
right.
So when they were voting for you, you would leave and then come back, and then they'd be like, you get voted into the cool guys club. And
Right.
5 of us went off without a hitch, and then the 6th kid was a little weird.
Yeah.
I want to say, from my memory, I voted yes. Everybody else voted no for him to be in the cool guys club. So I
Nice.
was like, well, this sucks, but I got to go talk to him. Because they were like, we're just going to walk away and like turn our backs to him and leave him here. And I'm like, he's going to be devastated. Somebody should at least have the stones to say like, hey, we voted no. So
Oh
I
my
walked
God.
over to him and I was like, hey, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but basically like, we don't want to hang out with you. And then I just remember he like started to cry, and then he just like walked into the yard like
Oh no.
like back on the school and just like walked into basically like the forest that was behind our school. He came back, which was nice.
No, I know, but it's sad, isn't it? But again, kids are brutal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Like
too honest.
they don't have any social conditioning up to that point, right? So it is just brutal honesty. It's like they'll do a vote system even if it really hurts somebody's feeling or whatever, you know? Like as adults, you don't tend to it's more passive aggressive, right? As adults, you just like
Behind their back, and
yeah, and or like just ghost them or whatever, you know, like but as a kid it's just like you don't have any of that. It's like yeah, I've had similar I was the same. I didn't bully people. I witnessed bullying, and I probably could have like maybe stopped some bullying.
Yeah, but like I hear you, but you're a kid.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
if
You
you're
don't.
like a teacher who saw it, and then you were like, I'm not on the clock right now, then you're kind of
Yeah, and
you
and
can
I
live with
think
that. But
I think the one thing every kid has in common is that they're trying to fit in, right? Like at every level. Like even people who are like at the very top of the pecking order, like at your school or whatever, in some ways they're probably trying to fit in
yeah,
somehow or whatever. And then especially so for people who are unfortunately at the bottom or whatever. So yeah, like you're right. There's probably not that much chance to get in there and be like, "Hey guys, stop
like,
bullying this poor guy." Like you just don't have
looks
that.
like we're giving 2 wedgies today.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're like, yeah, I love wedgies.
Oh my god. 22.82 kilograms. That was a fight too. Basically the whole bullying conversation I was reeling that bad boy in. Yeah, I don't yeah, school I don't have like terrible memories of school. Again, because I didn't really get bullied. I didn't bully people that much. I hung out with a group of people who were just really middle of the road, you know what I mean? Again, didn't get picked first for sports, but didn't really get picked last either. And that's when I played sports because I stopped playing sports like when I got to high school or whatever. But yeah, like somebody was asking me in chat earlier, like if you could go like back in time to like relive your childhood or do things differently, would you? And I just said no, not really. I like like it was fine. You know what I mean? It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty average, and I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any
Yeah,
like
we're cut from the same cloth. Like
yeah.
I was a good student, but I did like no extracurricular activities or sports. I just like clocked in my time. Had like a group of people I would sit with at lunch, but then like once we're off the clock, it's like no, we're not friends. Kind of because I lived in a rural area, so it was like until people would get their driver's license, it was like, what am I gonna? It's like a Wednesday night. I'm gonna have like my dad come home from work and then drive me 20 kilometers to your house so we can
Yeah.
like eat chicken tenders and play Smash. Like it's hard.
Oh my god, yeah. I guess like I'm 8 years older than you, so there's I think for the most part we probably have the same sort of like TV shows from our childhood and stuff like that. But Smash is something that completely escapes me. Same with Pokemon. I guess you're probably more like you were into Pokemon, right? When you were like a kid.
That was like the iron was hot for Pokemon
Right.
for sure.
See, I was just becoming a teen. I was like 13, 14 when Pokemon came out, and my brother was into it, and it was like because he was into it, he was 6 years younger. I was just like, okay, that's for babies. Yeah, I've got bigger fish to fry here. Like,
Probably watching whatever that show with Ryan Gosling was, where he's like in high school on a big cruise ship.
wait, what's that? Ryan Gosling.
It's called Breaker High.
Breaker High. No, I was like Degrassi was.
So you're like, okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like a little bit older. Yeah. Did you have like did what was on TV Ontario when you were a kid?
I didn't watch much TVO, honestly.
Oh, really?
I watched a lot of YTV.
Yeah, okay. Did you like you can't do that on television and stuff still exist?
It's before my time for sure.
Right, okay.
And I mean, when you're a kid, like a year is a huge difference. You know,
True.
when you're like 5, you're like, whoa, 6-year-olds are into this. I'm not ready for that. The 4-year-olds are into this, like they're babies.
Yeah.
It's like now, like we're the same age, even though you're 8 years older or something.
Yeah, pretty much now. It's
I mean,
well,
everybody from 65 to 90 is like they're the
pretty
same
much
age.
same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a big range, but you're right. You're not wrong on that. Like my parents are just 65. They might as well be 90, honestly. Like they're the worst. They actually live out close. Well, maybe not close. Are you like in Vancouver, pretty much? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. My parents moved. Okay, my parents moved to Victoria. They inherited. My great aunt died, and she had a house in Victoria from like the 1920s or something. So they inherited this house, and they moved out there for a couple of years, and they sold the house and they moved inland. And I thought they were gonna move to somewhere kind of like exciting, like maybe Vancouver or something. But they moved like close to Penticton, you know, like in the middle of the Rockies. Yeah.
Yeah. So like closer
It's
to Alberta, really, than
kind of, yeah. And it's like it's really close to the US border, and they got into like RVs. big time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they bought
But
an RV, and like I went out to visit them one year, and they took me to an RV show, and it was like I don't even know, like I'm still in shock. Like I can't believe that the industry is as big as it is and it exists and that people do that. They showed me they had this phone book, and I was like, "Oh, is that like your local phone book?" And they're like, "No, no, this is for RV parks in Arizona." I was like, "What?" Like that's what they do. They just fucking drive down to Arizona in an RV, and they park up and plug in and then just watch TV in their RV like for months at a time. It's really weird. I don't get it.
honestly, like I'm not there yet, but it sounds actually like appealing to me. And I know that objectively, you're like, what are you doing? You're just driving and watching TV. But I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It interests me on like an American truck sim level where I'm
Yeah,
like,
sure. Yeah.
hey, 12 hours of driving and you get to see the whole continent and then you get to watch some TV at the end. That's a win-win.
Well, yeah, I mean, watching TV is great. But they had a trailer, so there's a trailer at the back of the RV that they would put their car on. They had like a Toyota Tercel or something, I don't know.
Right?
And they'd put it on this trailer and they dragged the car with them. So when they parked up, like say they had to go get groceries or whatever, they
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
clever, eh? They wouldn't have to drive the big ass RV to Walmart or whatever. They just drive the little car.
Wow, that's honestly, it sounds like they're living the dream.
Sounds like your mind's blown right now. I mean, mine kind
I
of
didn't
was.
know you could do that.
Yeah. So they moved to this place because there's no bylaw. In fact, a lot of the houses are built with like 30-foot garages so that you can park your RV in there. And there's no bylaw that says you can't have an RV on your driveway or like outside your house. And that's why they moved there.
So this is like a whole like this is a known sort
Yeah.
of like mecca for the Canadian RV community.
It seems to be. Yeah. I
I
mean,
had no idea.
maybe my parents are like at the forefront of it. I don't know. Like they're like blazing a trail here or something. It sounds weird, right?
I will say that for people that are not from BC or do not are maybe not aware, um, the way that I understand that BC works is that there's like these concentric circles of awareness where like I live in Vancouver. I don't know anything that happens outside of Victoria. I don't really know what goes on there. If
No.
you go north or east, I'm like that's mountain country. Like I'm not even sure if there's like laws and sewer systems and stuff.
I don't even think there is anything in BC other than like Vancouver and Victoria though, right? Like everywhere else is just really, really remote. Like
I'm pretty sure if you look at the whole province of Vancouver, if you add the population of the Vancouver metro area and the Victoria area, that's got to be like 80% of the population of the whole
yeah,
province.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like maybe I'm totally wrong, but yeah, like from what I've seen of BC, having flown like into Vancouver many, many times, there's just nothing there. It's just like forests, right? Forests and lakes and some mountains. Like,
Yeah,
and then you get to Vancouver, it's like this big ass city, and that's it. It's
it's pretty.
beautiful though.
Yeah, you kind of get the best of both worlds. I thought, because like I like Ontario. If I had to move out of BC, I would move to Ontario 100%. Um, probably because like my family lives there too. But Ontario, like a lot of it, like if you drive from Kingston to Ottawa or vice versa, or like Ottawa to Toronto, you're just on the 401 the whole time, and you're like,
Yeah,
there's like rocks and some trees.
trees,
But it's
lots
like,
of
yeah,
trees. Yeah.
that's about it. And then you go through that cool part of the 401 where there's like test strips on the road, and everyone goes like, "Whoa!" And then that's it for like the next 3 hours.
Wait, if you guys were in Kingston, did you guys used to do that thing where anytime the Canadian dollar was like a bit strong against the American dollar, did you go shopping in upper state New York?
I did go to Syracuse and Watertown a
Yeah.
lot, kid, but there's less like when the dollar was good, but definitely I did have like family friends that would be like, oh yeah, like the gas is so cheap in the U.S. and the dollar's pretty strong.
Yeah,
So
and all the Indian reserves too, right? You could get cheap gas and stuff from
cigarettes,
there.
yeah.
Holy crap. Man, that's crazy. I knew you lived in BC, but I just assumed that you were like brought up in BC. It's nice to speak to somebody who is from my part of the world, right? Like
Yeah,
I hang out with people who are all English pretty much. So it's like I've lived over here long enough to know what they're talking about and stuff, but like it's nice to like chew the fat with somebody who's from Ontario. and who has like a similar sort of like childhood and everything as well. You know, like
Yeah, a little bullying, but not too much.
yeah, just like middle
The right
middle of the
amount.
ground. So wait, did you go to the Carousel Mall in Watertown, or is that in Syracuse? Do you remember that?
I think the last time I was in Syracuse or Watertown was probably when I was like 9. So I got very little memory. Most of my memory is more like is Ontario driven. Like I can't remember if it's on the way to Ottawa. Are you guys close to Belleville?
Belleville? Where's Belleville? Yeah, I think it's kind of close.
You guys are close to Smiths Falls and the Hershey
Smiths
Chocolate
Falls,
Factory.
yeah, Hershey Chocolate Factory. Gananoque is we went camping in Gananoque, I'm pretty sure. It's like kind of close.
Very, very noteworthy for the Thousand Islands Ferry. That
Yes.
When my wife and I were last in my hometown, we went on the Gananoque Thousand Islands Ferry, and we both got so sick, like sicker than we've ever been in our entire life before, that we thought we had undiagnosed mononucleosis.
Oh my god, wait, have you been did you do much camping as a kid?
Not at all. Literally, like my parents are very like they're urbanites, more or less.
Okay. We used to go camping in Thousand Islands, and one time when we were there, we went to visit this castle called Bolt Castle. Have you ever heard of it?
That is the same day that we must have caught that illness. We went to Bolt Castle. I've been to Bolt Castle like 5 times. It's
yeah,
like
same. It's fucking creepy, right?
Yeah, it's really so. I'll explain it to chat. Bolt Castle is basically like it's almost like the Eiffel Tower of upstate New York, I guess. Like
Yeah.
The story is that like this guy, this very wealthy guy, built an amazing house for his wife, but then like she died before it could be completed. So it's basically just a private island with a very nice house on it.
Yeah,
and that's all.
It's not
Like,
and it never completed because the woman that he loved, that he built the place for, died while it was being built, and then when she died, he didn't complete it. Right?
Yeah,
that's the story.
Too heartbroken to.
Yeah.
So you basically just walk through the whole house and you go like, it's nice.
It is nice, yeah. But it's the kind of place now where, probably even more so now, but I remember as a kid, you'd leave Bolt Castle and be like, that was kind of cool. But then you'd see all these other islands with like these fucking huge houses and like multiple speedboats outside of and stuff. And you're like, I mean, Bolt Castle's kind of cool, but I'd live in any one of these in a heartbeat, actually. They're really nice.
I remember like, so because again, like, so I've been to Bolt Castle many times. I've been on the cruise that you can go to Bolt Castle, but if you pay like $20 less, you just go around it and come back.
Okay.
I've been on that like, I don't know, at least 8 times. Because the old office I used to work at, they would be like, you know, hey, we're doing like a booze cruise through the Thousand Islands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it kind of sucked because it was like after work hours, but you had to go, which seems illegal. But regardless, there's like an urban legend. Like there's this amazing mansion. Like you said, it's got like a boat garage with like 4 speedboats in it in the Thousand Islands. And everybody, I don't know if it's true or just one person started a rumor, but everybody thinks that the guy who invented the pine air freshener for cars lives there.
Right, okay.
And everybody also knows like way too much about his life. They're like, I had a friend in elementary school who used to like get paid to shovel the snow off his driveway, and he's an asshole. But I have no idea if any of it is valid or.
Yeah, I think there's a story like that about pretty much everywhere, right? I can't remember any about Ottawa off the top of my head, but I know here in Jersey, maybe this is true, but maybe it's not. The guy who invented the Black & Decker workbench, you know, like the adjustable workbench. Okay, apparently he lived here at one point, and he built a custom house, and his living room rotated around during the day and followed the sun. So he always had sunlight in his living room. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like a good story, right? But
well, it's plausible too, because he was obviously a very modular sort of guy. So the fact he seems like he was good with his hands and stuff like that.
Probably, yeah. Excellent craftsmanship, like just built a stunning living room that was able to rotate. Like that's like a Doctor Evil house or something, right? Like
Yeah, like I'm trying to think about it. I don't even know. Like you build it like inside of a
yeah,
casing that
yeah. I
rotates,
don't know.
but
Like with like a big fucking gear. Like, would you have like a hunchback down there pushing it around or something?
what
Like
am I
I don't know.
even? How does it even? Because doesn't it face into its own mechanism some of the time? I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Maybe we're overthinking, but it is very Bond villain-esque. Like it just
there's no
seems.
doubt about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even know if it's actually true. And also now, okay, it's 2020, right? Say that house goes on the market and it goes up for sale, and you go to an open viewing to look at that house. That is the jiviest shit ever, right? Like that feels retro to me. I would not be impressed by that.
Yeah, it feels like 1970s.
Yeah, to
Like
me it would
the
be
roof
like
next.
this house is not worth this much. I would have to rip out this whole living room. It's a disaster, you know?
How are you
Like,
gonna find somebody to do the maintenance on the if you're living what if your living room rotates in such a way that you can't exit and then it breaks?
yeah. Yeah, what if you hate the sun as well? Like fuck, you
Very
know, and
true,
this
yeah.
thing is just you can't even reprogram it. It just follows, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like I think it was just a bad idea. But again, I'm not sure if it actually exists. It's just like a like local lore or something. There was also a rumor at one point that Elton John had like a secret house here, which I'm not sure. And a famous Formula One race driver, Nigel Mansell, lived over here at
Okay.
one point as well. Probably all for tax reasons. I would have.
Henry Cavill is from Jersey. I did see that.
That's right. He is. Yeah. He when he was Superman, he for the opening of Superman, him and Russell Crowe and the girl from Superman all came to Jersey for the grand opening.
Amy Adams. Yeah, Amy Adams.
Yeah. Amy Adams, sorry, yeah.
So it was just like she's a good actress. I just wanted to make sure that, like, if she's
Yeah,
watching, she doesn't feel slighted by the fact
Sorry.
that you didn't name.
Amy, I apologize. I'm sorry. She was in wait, she was also in was it
Arrival.
I've never seen that. Okay, I don't know. You'll find this, but another thing I have to say is that since having kids, I watch far less movies somehow.
Perfect sense.
You're doing great,
Yeah. So
This might actually be the greatest
probably since
stream of the year.
2011, I
Thanks,
haven't seen
Dad.
that many movies. Or like I've gotten around to them, but reluctantly, just because I can't sit there for 2 hours and watch a movie now. I have to watch them in
understand.
like half-hour chunks. It's really weird.
We were talking yesterday, like, so obviously, my daughter's so young, she doesn't watch anything, or
Yeah.
she doesn't choose to watch anything anyway.
No, yeah.
We were like, man, what if we just like didn't tell her that there were kids' movies? Like, what if we just maintain this illusion that movies are like, oh, those are for adults. Like, those are, you don't want to watch movies. Those are like boring stuff for adults. And then maybe I won't have to watch like all the Despicable Me's and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yeah. No,
Those it's not that big of a deal.
yeah. I mean, it depends. There's some like you know how people have been doing like the S tier for like cereal cereal types recently,
Oh, yeah.
and like all that kind of stuff. Like I've seen like a lot of that on Twitter. I was trying to think of like in terms of kids shows because I've had to watch a lot of them. I was trying to think of like not even going through all the tiers, but just trying to think of like S tier kids shows, and I said that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is probably S tier, and a lot of people started calling me a brony, which I'm not, by the way.
I figured you have two kids.
Yeah, but my daughter really likes it, and I've had to watch a lot of it with her and just it being on while she's playing or whatever. And I find it surprisingly tolerable compared to some of the other garbage that she watches. You know what I mean? Like,
What I've heard every time I've made fun of the show, which I haven't done in a long time because I'm beholden on my audience for financial support, but also I feel like it's not as much of a thing as it was like maybe 6 years ago. But I heard that people would always say like it's a show that kids can watch, but it's all like it's kind of made for kids, but it's also watchable by adults.
yeah. Well, I think that's it. Like the way it's written, they know that there's going to be adults watching it, right? And it's kind of like Pixar movies, you know, like you can go to see a Pixar movie as an adult, and they're pretty good movies. But if you see it as a kid, they're great kids movies too, right? And it's like they've got that magical sort of, yeah, you know, like they've gotten both demographics perfectly. But some kid shows just do not. Like some kid shows are so fucking stupid, and they're just for kids, you know, and that's it.
You have to watch Coco Lemon or Coco Melon or whatever that show is called from the Baby Shark cinematic universe.
No, I've never even heard of it.
Well, it's basically, I mean, you know, Baby Shark, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
it's like it's the same as like the YouTube ecosystem where like Baby Shark took off and now they're like a 10-figure operating revenue like real company.
Yeah.
So the whole show is just Baby Shark style animations and then songs about like how to put your backpack on and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god. So
I feel
that
like
so
Sesame Street is like that's a really good kids show that as an adult you're like, yeah, I know how to count to 6, but still like there's good lessons here.
yeah, I always found, okay, Sesame Street I used to watch as a kid, and I really liked, and as an adult watching it back, especially like the ones I remember watching like from the 80s, mostly like, you know, early to mid 80s.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really good. And but I don't know if I'm looking at it through adult eyes or through like nostalgia eyes, you know what I mean? Like, but
I
feel
think
like
it's good.
I think it is pretty good, and I'd be happy like if my kids watched it as well. But it was kind of weird that the Muppet Show was like as good. I remember watching the Muppet Show and loving it as a kid, but it was always on late at night. Like it was on at like 7 o'clock at night. When you're a kid, that's like almost bedtime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sesame Street was on like in the day. Like I get home at
11
lunchtime
a.m.
from school, and Sesame Street would be on, and it was. But I guess the Muppet Show had more sort of like adult stuff to it, even though it wasn't offensive in any way. I was just found it a bit weird, but I guess they'd have like guest hosts on and stuff that maybe adults knew. So maybe that was like an early trying to appeal to kids and adults at the same time sort of show, like 80s Muppet Show, like when Jim Henson was still alive, sort of thing. I don't know.
I mean, they were doing like Kermit the Frog was singing Talking Head songs and stuff.
That's right.
You're
Yeah.
years old. You're like, what's going on here? Why is that frog wearing a weird suit?
What's this guy doing? I used to like it. I used to like it a lot.
I have to point out here that according to the fish log, I would say of the last 12 fish that have been caught, I'm responsible for 11 of them.
I'm looking at the log right now. The last one I reeled in was a 8.58 kilogram rainbow trout.
It's correct, yes.
I would like to also point out that you brought in a burbot that weighed in at 0.18 kilograms, which I technically wouldn't class as a catch, personally.
I think that's a huge. It's probably the biggest burbot that's ever existed. Well, except for the happened right after that, I guess.
Wait till you see this one. Hey, how much money do you have from all the fishing you've been doing?
I have $313.
Okay. Do you want to try ice fishing?
Yeah, why not?
You need skills to do it though. And I'm not talking about like.
Yeah, so I went through this when I had my real save. You have to go buy, I think I have to buy an auger.
Yeah, you need an auger, yeah. But not only do you need to buy the auger, you have to skill up in the use of augers. I don't think ice fishing is that hard in real life. Like,
I got 5 skill points. Yes, use an auger. I have unlocked the incredible skill of use an auger, and I'll unlock this boat one as well.
Boat's got to be good, right? I've only ever done this map in this game. And every time I played this game, it's the exact same way I've played it with you just now. Talking to somebody else and not paying any attention to the game whatsoever.
The whole time you just been standing in the same spot. I'm at least keeping up the illusion that it matters where I'm standing, but...
Do you walk to the locations or do you teleport using the map?
Okay, so like I think you have to go back to the main menu and start like a new server on the ice map.
Okay, here, I'll do that right now.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'm actually just going to use the bathroom real
Sure,
quick.
yeah. Let me get the ice map loaded up, and it'll be all ready when you get back.
I will be back. I'll be back momentarily.
Sure.
Just a moment.
Hey chat, sorry for ignoring you for all this time, but I've been having a nice conversation with the fellow Ontarian. Dizzleberg, thanks so much for the $10. I'm sorry I didn't say thanks. I was in the middle of speaking. Sorry. Are you guys having fun? I'm glad that you're having fun. It's really good. It's been really fun. I managed to get to rank one. What? Because I brought in that 22 kilogram one. Just the last one I brought in was 22 kilograms. Don't fall through the ice. No, I'm not planning on falling through the ice. I got my auger loaded here. I think I need to buy some more ice fishing stuff though. The rod I was using on the first lake was stronger. The line was much stronger too, and we had more weights. And Jardins, are you still here? What kind of bait do we need to use in for ice fishing? I'm ranked 49th on the biggest fish there. Really? 49th? That's crazy. I need a specific ice fishing rod first. I think I have the basic one. Oh yeah, and another thing too, I can just do the hole straight away because he has to drill his own hole, right? It's such a fucking weird multiplayer game. Can I say pasta for Ryan's stream? Pasta. Wait, is oh, that's interesting actually. I'm gonna ask him how he pronounces certain things because I think it's like an Ontario thing too. Stop talking about holes. Okay, sorry. Is this the same lake in winter? Yeah, this is the same lake in winter, but I don't know how to start drilling. Oh. Here we go. Hole drilled.
I've returned.
Hey, what's up? The ice fishing rods are, those game, the fish game that you can get like for kids, the one that where the fish spin around. You get those like really tiny that's what it's like those fishing rods. They look like little toy fishing rods. Like they're stupidly small.
Okay, I do know what you're talking about. Where there's like a magnet at the end or something, and the
that's
fish
the
has
one.
like a magnet. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fish jump and they open their mouths, and you have to you gotta hook them in. That's what the ice fishing rods look like. They look exactly like those. Chat wants me to say pasta to you. Apparently,
it's nice to be like in a call without Americans because I can say I don't have to pretend that I'm from just a nondescript part of the Eastern Seaboard. I can say pasta. I can say bagel.
Yeah. You can say Mario.
Sorry.
Yeah. All the good stuff. Yeah.
I've said it so many times I don't remember which one's good, which one's bad. Is it lava? Like, I think I used to say lava.
I say lava.
Yeah.
I was being made fun of for saying it like that just last night. I joined a Minecraft server with a bunch of Americans. And I was like, oh, watch out for lava. And they're like, oh, I love how you say lava. Yeah.
It's so fun to make fun of Americans, especially when they're not here. So when I lived in Korea, like there's only two demographics of like Americans that live in Korea. There's English teachers and the US military. And you'd like go out to the bars and you're from Canada. They're like, whoa, that's crazy. I remember one time this total jerk was just like, hey, what building is on the $20 bill in the US? And I was like, I don't know, the Capitol building. And he was like, you dumb idiot, it's the White House. And then he started telling like all his friends, he's like, this guy said it was the Capitol building. And like, you don't know anything about Canada. And if you ever go like, well, you don't know anything about Canada, even the nicest American will be like, what's there to know? You know, like I don't need to know because my country is so much more important than yours. It's
I know
crazy.
it is crazy, isn't it? They're very like the news and everything. I remember when I first moved over here, and it was weird because I was so used to hearing so much about America. Like even on Canadian news, all you hear is like it's basically like American news for the most part, right? You get a bit of local news and then whatever is happening in America, or at least it was kind of like that when I was living in Ottawa or whatever. And then when I moved over here, you just never hear anything. Like you hear more now because Trump is so crazy, but before, like when Obama, like the 8 years of Obama, I couldn't tell you anything that was happening in that country. Like we heard nothing. It was just 8 boring ass years of nobody needed to know anything. It was perfect. It was really good. But I remember like I'd talk to my friends back home and they'd be like, "Hey, have you heard about this?" I'd be like, "No." And they're like, "Well, do you not get the news over there?" It was like, well, yeah, funnily enough, we get news about here over here. Like nobody fucking cares about America.
There's a shortage at the creamery, and there's a cat stuck in
exactly.
the tree.
Exactly. Yeah, like somebody in Greater Wobbleburton accidentally hit a cow on the road or whatever. You hear that stuff. But yeah,
I think I need another invite, by the way.
Oh, I just sent you one actually.
Yeah, I ended up in a game with like somebody not named you.
Shit.
Okay. And it was just me and them. And I got scared, so I quit.
Did they try to fucking fool you with the what building
you know
is
what?
on the dollar bill question?
No, that's because now I would never get that wrong. But I think it's because I had to buy a license, so maybe like it screwed up the invite after I bought the license.
Yeah. There's an invite there for you. So you have the skill and you bought the actual auger itself.
Yeah,
right?
I got it.
Right,
it's in my hand right now. I'm just walking on the ice here.
You're good to go. I've got the. I think I haven't upgraded any of my ice fishing stuff, so I probably have the same rod as you. The level 1 Pennant IRJ 45.
Let me see here. It does look stupid.
It does, right? It's really fucking small and stupid looking.
The other. Oh, I don't even have any bait. Luckily, I've got. Oh no, it's some kind of weird egg, but I remember, and again, I had no problem with Americans at large, but all of these stories are real. So if you get offended by me telling them, then maybe there's some introspection there for the Americans in the audience. But I remember we're from Canada, and we took a vacation to Quebec City, and there's a lot of Americans that were vacationing in Quebec City, which is, it's a beautiful place. But they just would not stop talking about American politics nonstop. And they're on vacation in Quebec, and they're like, "What do you guys think about Mitt Romney?" And I'm like, "Nobody cares." I mean, like, people care, but it was back in 2012 when you could be a little bit more apolitical without it, reflecting on you.
Americans are a lot more sort of, like maybe I don't want to say politically knowledgeable, but I feel like they're way more up for talking about politics, and they have a much clearer understanding of their institutions than like say I do, right? And sometimes like if you get a whole bunch of Americans talking about this stuff and they're really interested in it, it's really daunting because I have no fucking clue what they're talking about half the time. Because there's all these different departments that they talk about, and there's all this there's local level politicians or state level, and then there's like federal and there's like all this crap that they're always talking about. I was on a flight one time. And I was sitting next to an American guy who was just like, I think he just wanted somebody to talk to or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't realize that there was like other Americans around. And I'm the same. I generally don't have like issues with Americans. Like I know a lot of Americans. I like a lot of Americans, but they were like, kind of like in their 50s, I think, or whatever. And so this guy started talking to me, asking me like what I was doing. I think I was going to like BlizzCon or something at the time. I was like, I'm going. You
lied to him, and you were like,
I was like, I'm going to like a media convention, like, but I'm on business or something. And he was like, oh yeah. And then he just like at the first opportunity he started talking about politics. Like he just found some way to start talking about it, and then. This was like, it was like turning on a neon light for like the, like the rest of the mosquitoes on the plane. And all of a sudden it was just like 3 or 4 other Americans just sort of like their heads came up like prairie dog style. And they were just like, politics. And they all rushed over. And before I knew it, I'm just sitting there. I'm watching The Expanse with like one headphone on because I didn't want to be rude and like not listen to them. And these guys are just like fucking going at it for hours, like not even sitting in their seats, nothing. They're just talking about all types of shit that I had no idea about, and I didn't know what to do, and it was awful. And oh man, I feel like probably other people have had that situation as well, right?
The audacity to start a politics discussion on a closed aluminum canister.
Oh my god,
you can't escape is just.
Yeah, and you can't really talk to people much on a plane anyway. It's so loud, right? You're just like, you can't have a normal conversation. It's like one of those yelling conversations that's instantly exhausting. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you just sort of say, like, where are you going? Same place as you. Okay, nice to meet you. That's it, you know? Like, it's just, I don't know why you have to.
It's rude. I think now maybe because people have devices and stuff, there's not as much of a culture of like talking on planes. But I definitely remember so I flew to San Francisco for a media event. It was literally like the day after that Asiana Airlines like struck the seawall at SFO.
Oh shit.
So like everybody's kind of on edge, even though you're like, for me, I was like, well, if it happened yesterday, it's never going to happen today. Like this is probably the safest day to fly in history.
Yeah,
but anyway,
sure.
the flight was at like 7 a.m. I just remember I was reading like on my Kindle, and the guy next to me started talking to me like right as soon as we hit cruising altitude. I was like, man, I'll never have that degree of confidence to like talk to a stranger on a 7 a.m. flight right at the start of the flight, so you kind of awkwardly have to keep it going for 2 hours. I'm like,
yeah,
start talking to somebody on a plane, because like you're stuck with it. Like at some point you just put your headphones back in, and then it's just over. I don't know if I have the stones for that.
No, I know. I could never. I think one time I said something. So anytime I've ever spoken to somebody on a plane, it's because they've spoken to me. So
yeah,
respect to you. If you've got the balls to speak to somebody, okay, great. The only time I ever spoke to somebody and I felt kind of bad about it was I was sitting next to somebody who didn't eat anything for their meal. Okay, like just nothing, except for their yogurt. So, like they got a yogurt and they ate that, and I figured, okay, maybe they just like got screwed over. They had like a dietary thing or whatever. And I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I just sort of noticed. And I don't really like yogurt, so I was like, hey, do you want my yogurt? And they were like, no. Like straight away, and I was like, okay, shit, I should not have said anything. I was just trying to be nice, you know? Like, it was just, I don't know, they seemed almost like kind of offended by it. But that's the only time I've ever instigated a conversation of any type on an airplane. Otherwise, like I plug into something or read a book or whatever, that's it. I don't know how people do it. I don't know why people want to do it. You know what I mean?
I don't glean much from those. Like, I think you can kind of romanticize, like in the 1960s, you're in business class and you're like, what do you do? What do you do? That's
Sure.
kind of interesting. But now I'm like, we're sitting in coach and you're like, oh, what brings you to San Francisco? Oh, tourism. Surprise, surprise. Who would have thought? Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, go see the bridges. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's it. There's just not like that much to say. And again, it's just not like the best place to have a conversation either, right? Like because it's loud and everybody's tired and like you basically have to get to the point where you're like nearly delirious to even enjoy a conversation, right? Like your inhibitions are gone because you're so exhausted and fed up of being on a plane that you can kind of do it, but you're never really quite at that point, right? Like it's the worst. Man, speaking of trips though, I don't know if have you ever driven across Canada to get to where you live now? Like from like Kingston to Vancouver? Like when you moved, did you drive?
I flew. The sum total of my life's possessions fit in like a suitcase and a cardboard box, though.
Right. Okay.
Like I was like I want to say it was a clean break. Like I was leaving some kind of, situation behind. Like even when I got out here, I just like bought a new computer.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
on the airplane.
No, I mean, you hear all those horror stories of people trying to move their computers on airplanes and they always like end up broken or whatever. You're probably better off buying a new one.
Because I'm like, this thing's expensive. But back then it was like, I don't know. I think I still was just using like a laptop.
Oh, jeez. So I've driven Ottawa to, cause I mentioned my grandparents lived in Victoria.
Yeah, yeah.
I've driven it twice. No, not me driving. I was a kid.
Trip, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 days, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, and like to stop to stay in a hotel to sleep or whatever, and you end up stopping in the dumbest places too, like Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and like places like that.
It's
Like
really bad for you too, because you were like right on the easternmost part of Ontario. It takes
yeah,
like 2 days just to get out of the province.
I know it's the worst, right? So as a kid, I did the trip a couple of times, and I remember it being hell because when you're a kid and you're stuck in a car, there's nothing worse, right? I remember going to Kingston from Ottawa in a car as a kid, and I hated it. Like
It's only like 2 hours. That's not.
I know it was only 2 hours, but it felt like an eternity. Like it was so boring. Like I just hated it. So going across the country was pretty bad too. But so me and my wife, my wife before we were married, like we'd done a lot of traveling back and forth, like between Jersey and Ottawa, like like when after we'd met, sort of thing. Like every couple of months, like we had this long distance relationship, but every couple of months we'd visit or whatever. And then eventually I moved to Jersey, like on a gap year, like between school. So I lived over here for a year and I worked and stuff. And then my wife did the same. She actually moved to Ottawa and lived and worked in Ottawa for a year, like on a gap year as well. And at the end of her gap year in Ottawa, we decided to go visit my grandmother in Victoria, but we didn't have any money because I worked at Blockbuster at the time. Like I had no fucking money. And she was like between jobs, so we didn't have any savings. So we bought 2 Greyhound tickets, bus tickets. Yeah, to go out to Victoria, all the way to Victoria. And they were like $200 each. It was like pretty cheap, right? Considering.
Yeah.
Oh, but fuck me, it was the worst. Like it was actually
like days or something.
It was straight 82 hours straight.
Oh, it just drove the whole time.
Yeah, it never stopped. Well, no, it stopped at like strategic like Tim Hortons along the way, like every couple hours or whatever. But oh my god, it was the worst. In 82 hours, and you can't sleep because it's a bus and whatever. Yeah. I read like 10 books. Like it was just I took out like 10 John Grisham books from the library and I read them all one way. Like only one way. It was insane. But then we flew back. We got a standby flight on the way back. It was actual hell. It was the worst. Oh my god. I would never do it again. It was an experience too, but
like it's funny because it's almost the exact same situation, but my friend went to the University of Victoria, grew up in Kingston, and then nice. he always flew, but then one time he took the train, which he said was not good because it's actually more expensive than flying. Yeah. And it takes like at least 5 or 6 times longer, probably more. And then one time he did do that Greyhound trip, and he said it was like the worst experience in his life.
Yeah. And okay. I can't even imagine. Like you said, though, getting out of Ontario, easily 2 days, like, or what felt like 2 days, and endless trees, like on the trans. It's like 401, right, all the way through, and we stopped somewhere. It was in the middle of the night, and it was like a gas stop. So bus stops has to get some gas. So everybody can get off, and you just go into Tim Hortons and buy like a couple of bagels or whatever. Like you're at this point you're delirious and you hate yourself and everything. So you just buy like a bunch of muffins and stuff. So we get out, we buy some muffins. It's really late at night. It's dark and everything. We go in and we're just like stretching our legs and stuff and just like complaining about how shitty the trip is so far. We're only like 6 hours in or something, but we're in the middle of nowhere. Like we weren't like at Sault Ste. Marie or anything or like Thunder Bay. Like we were really in the middle of nowhere. And we get out of the Tim Hortons and the bus isn't there. And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are we going to do? I don't even know where we are. I don't know how long it would take my dad to like drive out here and get us. Like it would take him forever, sort of thing. And we were like kind of panicking for a minute because we couldn't see anybody else around or whatever. And then we saw somebody that was on the bus come out of the Tim Hortons bathroom. We were like, oh fuck, they've missed the bus too. So at least it's not so bad.
It's a sense of that you're all screwed.
Yeah, but then then like 2 seconds later the bus came, and because like the gas station was down the road, so it had to go fill up and then come back to the Tim Hortons. Oh my god. Like it was such a roller coaster the whole trip. Like there was just these moments of like I want to kill myself, and then there was other moments of just sheer elation, like when the bus came back and we weren't
Or like when if you stopped at a Tim Hortons in like a bigger city, you're like, wow, this is
this is quite the Tim Hortons. Yeah, I think we didn't do the 82 hours straight. That we did stop in Calgary and we stayed overnight in Calgary, and then after that there was still like 12 hours to go. Oh my god, it was unbelievable. It was actually... And
you're dealing like there's another wild card too, which is you're dealing with the bus clientele, which is sometimes fine.
Yeah.
You know, people who are just strapped for cash, or you know they're just like riding the bus for whatever reason. Maybe they don't own a car. And then you got also like people who are cutting other people's heads off.
That's a thing, right? The guy that did
happened once, yeah.
Cut. I can't believe he cut a guy's head off. But when the police got onto the bus after the bus had been evacuated, he was on the back of the bus like eating the ears, right?
Yeah, he was eating his like licking his throat and stuff like that.
Oh my god. That guy is in jail for life, right? Like there's
I'm not joking. He got out like 2 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's better now, I guess, or like whatever, you know.
How do you get better from that?
I don't think he's allowed to be on the bus anymore, though.
He's banned from Greyhounds forever. Oh my god. That is crazy.
You should see his Uber rating.
He just plummeted. He's just, oh my god. How did they let that? There's no way. You're just joking, right?
No, he's out. He's out.
Doing what though? How do you do anything after that? Like, what's he gonna do? Go get a job?
He could probably run for office the way things are in this. Am I right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. No, that's a good point. But oh man, I just don't know where you go from cutting a person's head off and then eating their ears and licking their throat, going in jail and coming out of jail. How do you? I just don't understand. But maybe politics is the right answer then. I don't know. Fuck, that's crazy, eh? Have you caught any fish here?
Yeah, I've caught like at least 12.
Are you serious? I'm having a lot of. I've somehow managed to like lower my lure onto the ground and not into the hole here. It's like, oh no, here.
you gotta reel it in then.
It's just, yeah, I'm struggling big time. Oh, do you press C to see like the underwater view? Oh, okay, good.
That's very, very useful.
Yeah. I think the trick is with the ice fishing is to not lower it down too far, right? You just want to like.
Yeah, I was like, all of a sudden you're starting to give me tips. Like maybe catch a fish first, and then I'll start to ask for your advice.
Look at you got a. You didn't catch this brown trout 7 kilograms here, did you?
I did. Every single one that you see in the ledger is from this.
Those are some pretty big fish. Rainbow trout.
I told you it was gonna make it competitive.
Damn. Okay.
I don't know. I lower it like halfway, and then within like 5 seconds, a fish comes, and then I just sort of reel it in.
So what? So you're like close to the top of the hole, so that you can just reel it in quick. Because all the ones that I've caught have broken the line like straight away.
I mean, I'm fighting it a little. You can use your mouse wheel to adjust the reel tension.
Yeah, what do you have yours set to?
If they're pulling hard, I put it on 0 and try to keep them like in the green. But then when they get tired, I crank it up to 100 and then just reel them in.
Damn,
but it's kind of it's a balancing act.
I feel like you're more advanced at this game than I am. Like I usually just have it at 100.
Oh, like go and just hold left mouse button down the whole time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I haven't played that much of it. Well, I mean, I played like a fair bit of it. I don't know. There's something about this game. I was talking about Cyberpunk earlier. Like really dumb, mundane mechanics do it for me in games. You know what I mean? And like, I think part of me not playing Cyberpunk is that I just don't really care for stories in games much, you know?
Now I'm finally understanding why we have so much of a overlap in our Venn diagram of viewership, because like I also have long been of the opinion, like when people are like, if I really got hosed when I was playing a bunch of Hades, and
Right.
I would skip through all the dialogue, and then like people were like, "You don't even care about the story." I'm like, "Well, it's the Odyssey, you know." So
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. It was written about in like the year 1100 BC or something. Like,
Yeah, I happily skip through a lot of that. So, like Hades, I was the same with Hades. I played a bit of Hades. I didn't get like massively into it, but I didn't read a single line of dialogue, which
and I
maybe
was losing it because people were like, they were going hard for the characters. They were like, "Oh, I'm in love with Aphrodite. Oh, I love Dionysus or whatever." And I'm like, "You read that stuff?"
yeah, yeah, no, I mean, no, not me personally, no. Check the fish log right now, by the way.
Yeah, I see that, a 14 kilogram rainbow trout. That's like
210 big ones.
more weight than all of my fish put together, I think.
I do have like 7,000 bucks in this game now, though.
That's pretty good.
I know I haven't spent any of it. What kind of hook are you using right now? I'm using a number 5/0 with maggot bait.
I'm I'm using a just one sec. Sometimes the interface is a little wonky. I'm using a number 2, and it has cut bait big.
Nice. Do you
Cut
ever
bait.
use like I don't know why. I guess the last time I played this game I decided that using a piece of bread and a pea, I think, was a good.
Oh, at the same time. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
you could have multiple lures on at the same time.
I know I didn't catch anything with that combo though. Maybe it's just not like a good one, but
That's
um
another one. How do you say lure?
lure.
That's just me then.
Why how do you say what do you say?
Lure.
Lure? I can see
Go ahead.
that.
You can make fun of it. It's a funny.
No, I wouldn't make fun of that. That's not like I feel like that's an American thing, right? To make fun of how somebody pronounces something. I don't mind. Like, what do you say? Do you say root or route?
I feel like I alternate.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
in my head, I'm like, yeah, I would say I interchange them.
Yeah, like I say router for like the
Oh,
like
of
a.
course.
But if I
Router.
was planning a route to drive, I would plan a route. I wouldn't plan a route. You know. That's my interchange. Does that make sense?
I can understand it. Yeah, it wouldn't
Would
even dawn on me. I think I would just be like, I'd be like, yeah. Why are you using such a fancy word where you could just say the way?
the this is the way. Hey, have you watched Mandalorian, by the way?
I
You
was-
did, right? You finished
I
it?
did, and I was gonna bring it up because I thought it was very dad-like that I saw your tweet about episode 2 of season 2. And
Yeah.
I guess like when you got kids, you're just constantly like maybe 5 weeks behind the
Sure.
cutting
Yeah.
edge of media.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my TV watching, I really like watching like TV series, but again, if they're hour-long episodes, it'll take me 2 days to watch one episode.
Totally
I like
understand. Yeah.
I watch them in half-hour chunks because the time I most watch TV is when my kids go to bed. So like I put my daughter who's younger to bed, and like I lay on the floor next to her bed while she's going to sleep. Like it's just something that we've always done with our kids, sort of thing. And that's when I watch TV, like on my tablet or whatever. So I watched all of Dark, which was awesome.
Great show. Yeah.
I loved it, and now I'm just catching up. I've seen season 1 of The Mandalorian, and now I'm just watching, just catching up to season 2.
It's really good. Like I think season 2 also, like season 1, gets better as it goes along.
Man, it's just nice to watch good Star Wars, right? Like it just
Yeah.
feels like,
Feels weird.
yeah. I like. I hope that all of the Star Wars that they make now is like The Mandalorian, which it won't be clearly, but it's just so good, isn't it? I really like it.
Even like as I'm so positive about the Mandalorian, when Disney had its like Investors Day or whatever and announced 19 new Star Wars TV shows, I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. It's great though. I mean I'm not like scared of spiders, but I didn't like the frozen spider cave like much.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
I think you're probably okay then.
yeah.
I don't
But
think there's much that's scarier than
I
than.
thought the I'm up to the episode when they go to like the Mon Calamari place, like the fishing village thing.
Uh,
And there's the all the weapons on the big transport, and he meets up with those other Mandalorians who take their helmets off or whatever.
oh, okay, yeah.
I just finished that episode today, and I like how sort of gritty it is, but I kind of like how wholesome it is sometimes as well, right? Like there's just parts of it that are just really nice, you know, like the frog lady with the eggs, like babysitting like the little Yoda and stuff. I thought that was really cute, you know, like when he's trying to eat the soup and stuff.
I like how the frog lady, literally, if you watch with subtitles on, they just call her name is Frog Lady.
Is that what they-
I was explaining the episode to my wife, and I was like, and then there's like this frog lady, and she's like, she's probably got a name, and I'm like, yeah. On Wikipedia, she's known as
Wikipedia.
Frog Lady.
Nice. That's really good. I like how she used her frog movements out of the ice cave too. Like she was trying to run like a person for a while, and then decided that she needed to be a bit faster, so then started like awkwardly frog leaping. It was I don't know. It's such a good show though. It's really good.
It is. It's a great show.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know. This is when I say like I'm a 50-year-old guy in a 32-year-old guy's body that kind of looks like a 50-year-old guy's body right now. But like I also watch almost all my TV with my daughter, but
Yeah.
it's between the hours of usually like 6:30 and maybe 9 or 10 a.m. And like all I watch, and I'm so embarrassed to admit it because every time I do, I lose like 10 viewers permanently, but is Bloomberg News. Every day I just, at market open, I turn on Bloomberg News, and then they're like, "Oh, America's having a run on soybeans." Like that's from today. That was the news. Demand for soybeans is higher in the United States than it's ever been.
Wait, do
And
you
then I
have
go,
stocks
"Oh."
and stuff though, or you just?
I'm like I have like smart grown up investments that I never touch, and then I have like a little fun stock fund. But
Right.
I rarely actually act on the news. I just watch it and like pretend like I'm a grown up. I'm like, oh,
Right.
if I knew a company that made products with soy, I might be like, time to sell because they're gonna start paying so much for those beans.
I think all that stuff is worth getting into, right? Like I don't do any of that stuff, but I like a couple of guys that I grew up with that I have like a WhatsApp group of like guys I went to school with that I'm still like in touch with or whatever.
My experience, by the way, I'm like, I'm seeing now, like I'm in chat's position when I say the exact same thing you're saying. I'm always like, we have like a little back channel and a Google Hangout with
Yeah.
guys from high school.
Yeah. Well, and so same. So these guys are always talking about how vegan stuff is getting bigger and bigger, and they've actually invested in like some, I don't know, like Miracle Burger stock or something, and apparently it went through the roof at one point, and they all sold it. But again, it's like small time, right? Like they invested like $50 and they got like $300 back or something like that. You know, like, but I don't know. I guess they just find it fun or whatever.
It's worth getting into, but you got to be smart. Like, so for the first couple of weeks, I was just like Nostradamus. Like anything that I picked, it went up like 10%. And I was like, this is the easiest thing of all time. I'm going to be like a billionaire.
Yeah.
And then so my whole strategy was like, I'm going to like, when I see news, even if I don't know anything about the company, I'll just buy it. Because when the news comes out, other people go, I'm going to buy it too. And then as long as you don't stay in for too long, you just sell when it goes up a bit and there's profit, right?
Yeah.
So there was this news article that was like, hey, this one investment firm put out a price target for this company that's like double of what its current price is. Then I bought it and I got in, not a lot, but not a little either.
Right.
Because I'm pretty cheap to begin with. So
No, I'm the same.
and then like I had this cold sweat, like half an hour later, the Reddit post with the news got deleted by a mod. And I was like, oh no, it was probably like a spam website designed to just pump the stock. And then I was down like 2%, but I was like, I'm just gonna hold it, and now it's down like 17% or something.
No. So what? So will you just hang on to that now forever until it just maybe goes up, or like is there a point where you're just like, I just got to get rid of this, like, before I lose too much on it or something?
Torn, because people like, you got to be careful, because most of the people giving like stock advice on Reddit are literally like 18 to 22-year-old college students who are just like, whatever, YOLO, diamond hands, you don't lose to but like you do, like, you can lose while holding as well if all your money's tied up in like this garbage stock, when you could be buying something that actually like has a real business attached to it. But for now, I'm holding in the hopes that, like, I think this is stocks that are like under $3. I think this is just how it works. So people tell you like rocket ship emojis, it's going into outer space. You buy, they sell, and they go. Like, have you ever seen the movie It Follows?
No.
Curse that passes from person to person, and now
Okay.
like, you gotta hold the bag, and then you gotta wait for, like, you know, the next news that's gonna pump it, and you're like, today's the last day to get in, and then you buy it, then you just get out, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy, like, I don't know, Apple or something like that.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just like, I've always wanted to like look into stuff like that, but like I've never. I know that I'm fickle, right? Like, I'll be really interested in something for like a week, and then I'll never think about it again. And like, I feel like I'd be the same with stocks. I'd buy a bunch and it wouldn't go the way that I thought it would go, sort of thing. Like, i.e., I wouldn't be a billionaire overnight, and then I'd just be like, fuck these stupid things, like, just completely forget about them.
Which is fine, I think, if you buy good companies.
Right.
If you're gonna, like, if you see like a post on Reddit that's like, hey, look at the CEO of this company has weird hair, it's going in the, you know, it'll be triple by 1 week from now, then, you know, you're gonna run into trouble, because by the time you check again, it's gonna be zero. But
Yeah.
if you bought, like, you know, if you bought the, you know, blue chip stocks, like if you buy like Amazon or Google or something like that, you're probably not gonna, you know, forget about it for 6 months and come back and be like, oh, Google went out of business. Like,
no, yeah, exactly. I guess there's like certain ones that you can buy that you can actually just invest in, right? Like they'll be worth something down the line for sure, sort of thing. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's like, nobody knows, but like that's like the hope, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's some companies where you're like, oh, dude, because you can play this trick in your brain. You're like, everybody knew Amazon was going to be amazing. Why didn't I just buy like $1,000 of Amazon stock in 2004 or whatever? But then some companies you look at, you're like, you can imagine. I remember like my grandparents being so proud that they own like dozens or hundreds of shares of Kodak or something like that, and then you look at the stock price of Kodak, and as of like the invention of digital cameras, it goes down to like $1.50 or something like that.
Yeah, right. I was talking to some people about this like not long ago, about Kodak, and I think like the biggest thing that they do now has to be batteries, right? I only ever see Kodak batteries, like, and nothing else.
I think so. You're one step ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know if I don't remember if we even looked into it, but I feel like their biggest product right now has to be batteries, because I've never seen any other Kodak stuff other than batteries. But maybe paper and stuff. Like, I'm not sure. Like,
Printer paper.
They're around somewhat, but they sell their name a lot.
Like, this was before I got into investing, like last summer, but they got pumped crazy. Like they had like a super, because they were at almost zero. They had a super meteoric rise, and everyone was like memeing them up, like they're gonna have this incredible product that comes out. And then like the stock rose so much that the SEC actually investigated like what the heck's going on here, because it seems fraudulent. And then it tanked back down to almost zero. And then like 2 weeks ago, the SEC was like, it's not Kodak's fault. And then it pumped up again to like outer space.
So it really is just like speculation and like, you know, newsworthy stories or whatever, like where there's interest in it, right? Like there's when stuff goes up, it's usually just because like people think it's gonna go up, right? Or like rather than like the company actually performing super well or whatever. I guess that does help, but
Yeah, but sometimes there's like earnings and they do really well on earnings, better than
yeah.
expected, and it goes up. But then today, I don't know, Apple stock was like, it's like $130. It went up like $4 today because Tim Cook was like, yeah, I think we're just gonna like make an electric car. People were like, oh shit.
Right, and
Apple
then
car,
that's enough for it to just go up.
yeah.
That's crazy. So if you bought like $1,000 worth of Amazon stock in say 2004, how much would that be worth? If you just left it, how much would that be worth? Like,
You want to know, this is the kind of stuff that will keep you up at night. So let me look at Amazon stock price lifetime. Right now it's like $3,500 a share or something.
Jesus.
It's so in 2004 it was like $40 a share. So it'd be worth like 100 grand, I guess.
Fuck.
But it also,
Even
I think, it's split a couple of times over that period as well. So like, you would buy like, let's say 1,000 shares, and then they would be like, for every share that you own, now you have 4 shares. So you would have like 4,000 shares, and then multiply that by 100.
that's where they do like that's like a split, right? Or they call it like a
Yeah.
okay.
It's crazy. Well, like there was a great story I saw where like somebody on Reddit was talking about how like their mom and dad sold their shares of Apple in like 1992 to buy a house. If they just kept it, they'd be worth like $400 million or something.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Jesus Christ. I think
will
like
say, I gotta leave now. I have an obligation to the mother of my child to liquidate some streaming space for her.
right, understandable. Hey, listen, this is really great.
A lot of fun. Yeah, it was very easy. Like,
Yeah.
it was. I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do if we got nothing to talk about?
No, yeah, well, I don't think we ran out of any. I mean, there's still so many subjects that we haven't covered. So, anytime you want to hang out again, let me know. I am down.
I'll hit you up in the back channel. I think we could easily do a lot more of this. And it doesn't just. I mean, that was with just fishing. Like, I don't even.
Yeah.
My brain has no memory of what happened on the screen for like the last 3 hours or whatever. So,
Same. I mean, I feel like we have a very similar pacing with games and stuff. I mean, even like a lot of the like Jackbox. Like I played a bunch of Jackbox, and it's been pretty fun. I mean, I don't play a lot of Rocket League, but like games like that, I feel like I can play like a ton of those, like, and just like chat the whole time, sort of thing, like no problem. So
I don't know if you can relate, but like, and it's unfortunate timing for me, but like, oh, how nice is it to have like 3 hours of conversation on Twitch and not be interrupted, like even a single time?
Yeah.
Or have to shout over 5 other people for 2 seconds to indicate that it's your time to talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Among Us, and it is just like that sometimes. With 10 people, it's like, it's insane, right? Like, even like on Rivals, you just couldn't get a word in half the time. Everybody else is talking.
No, I hear you. It's been more my speed for sure.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, like I said, anytime. If you're ever like short people, you need like 4 people or whatever, like around this time, I'm sort of floating around anyway, so just hit me up, let me know.
Sweet. Yeah, I absolutely will do.
Perfect.
You have my word.
Good luck with your baby and stuff, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too. Peace. See you later. And just like that, chat, he gone. What time is it? It's like fucking midnight. Man, that was great. That was really good. What a nice guy. Just such an easy guy to chew the fat with. That was really great. Good. 10 out of 10 stream. Good. I'm glad you guys liked it. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't even really paying attention to the fishing. It was just nice to. I didn't realize that he was from Kingston as well. Man, that opens up so many things to talk about. Like, we grew up very, very close to each other and around the same time as well. It's very interesting. Basically a dad podcast. Yeah. Great podcast. No, it was good. I enjoyed that. I hope that you guys enjoyed that as well. it was kind of a long time coming, right? I think a lot of people were like were keen to see some sort of collab, whether it be like in a game or just like in this sort of format or whatever, with Northernlion, and we've done it. It's happened. Another big milestone for 2020. 2 times on Twitch Rivals, 3 times Twitch Rivals MVP. Man, it's been a big year. I know it's been a shitty year otherwise, you know, 2020. But there's always a silver lining, and the silver lining is that I was on Twitch Rivals 2 times this year. No? Who is this guy? It's 3 times Twitch Rivals MVP is this guy right here. One of the best streams of the year. Thanks. Well, I'm glad. Thank you very much. Chat, listen, sorry I ignored you so much. When you're having a chat with somebody, though, it's kind of hard to pay attention to everything that's going on. If you subbed or resubbed or donated during that whole time, can I just say a blanket thank you? Would that be okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was good Lego talk. Yeah, no, it was really good. A couple of raids happened also. Fuck. Okay, I'm so sorry if I missed your raid as well. Who raided while I was doing that? Freely Giddy, thanks so much for the 5 gift subs as well. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. This was the perfect way to kick off the collab. As soon as I knew Ryan was gonna become a dad, I knew the dadcast was gonna be way too dank. I'm surprised. I thought that his baby was a bit older. I didn't realize that he was his daughter was only 3 months. Like, that's really, really small. I thought he